church or the religion you never knew you had. Welcome to the place unknown, religion seated when you were grown. Hidden lessons went along, truth is here now in this tone. Shadow plays on the wall, you never knew you learned it all. Secret speakers, echoes call, feel the rise, don't fear the fall. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. They whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep, now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread, follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. Whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark their secrets keep, now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots your faith has spread, follows you where'er it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked.
And if that isn't working out, then we'll have the moderator do a more strict timed setup. How does that sound? Does that sound good with you, Bev?
Sounds like a debate.
Kind of a informal debate, maybe a discussion, but a moderated discussion. How do you like that term?
Yes, GF6 are all on the record that they will become on the level if Jesse is not to prove victorious.
Okay. And the title for the debate?
Oh, yes. It has been published for almost a week, and I will read it to you. Or does the moderator want to read it to us?
Sure.
Why don't you read it, Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Moderator can do that. Oh gosh, can I actually
Don't
pull
forget
up
the
the
bold part, too. By the way, is my mic level good?
Good on my side, yeah. Welcome, Sean G.
Hey, Sean.
Gosh, I can't actually click the event now. Boomer
That's odd.
admin can't admin.
Well, that's because I clicked it. Let me unclick it. Now you try.
Okay, it's just
It's like checking a book out from the library.
all right. Let's see what it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, join us on this fine morning in the time of Bev for an angle on horizontals, the Titans. In the level corner, with 28 confirmed wins and 0 losses, Bev. In the horizontal corner, Jesse. 12 theodolites, 0 losses. We will be joined tonight for the event of the century, the ultimate globe debate. Our 2 horizontal planes, independently established in 2 different locations, parallel to each other. I guess we could give it a few minutes to let people filter in, unless we want to get started. But yeah,
We might as well wait another 6 minutes since everyone was told we'd be starting at that hour, so it's not that long.
And where did you get 28 from? You just made that up, right?
no, I've been following you for years. You just
Okay.
didn't know. This was all psyop.
Yeah.
I just made it up.
Yeah.
I just made it up.
Yeah, I have I suppose, history. I'm quite proud of the debates that I've had. There's some of the most ridiculous, I consider, things to debate.
Indeed.
And I think this is goes on the list also.
I'm pretty proud of some of your measurements.
Yeah, what you consider a measurement and what I consider a measurement are completely different things, aren't they?
Indeed. We'll find out.
Well, yeah.
Don't begin the debate just yet, gentlemen.
Oh, that's right. We're waiting 4 more minutes for the stragglers. Let's see.
While we're waiting, check out this badass dragon that I have on my desk. Isn't this cool?
Wow, is it glass?
It's a little glass orb.
Oh, but it's a pop metal casting dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Is there a bed frame at the back there?
An unassembled one, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that for sleeping standing up?
Well, as you know, I don't sleep, so it hasn't been an issue.
That's what I told people earlier. You have an espresso machine, not a bed, because that saves space.
Yep. Okay, if anyone Let's see. I almost have as many people muted as 24/7. It's a good start.
Wow.
Not quite. The founder of the scientific method, Northern Rebellion, has joined us. Welcome, Northern.
Hey, Northern. I'm
What
gonna
other?
pop into MMM and let them and the VC know, and I'll be right
Okay.
back.
Alrighty.
I'll just go and feed my cat.
I like your thumbnail, Bev. Well done with that one.
They are watching a movie, and it's got 30 minutes left. It says
Okay.
hockey. Well, Bev, do you want to present evidence and cross-examine first, or would you like me to present evidence and cross-examine first?
Well, I'll go first if you want.
Certainly.
Okay. Are we ready to start?
Yeah, I
It's
think
not
we can
8
go ahead.
o'clock yet, is it?
We got 1 minute, so it seems like a fine time to start. Yes. Let's have a. What does she say in Harry Potter at the beginning of the Quidditch match? I'm trying to remember exactly what she says. Nice, clean game. And yeah, try not to beat each other with the bludgers. All right, go ahead, gentlemen.
Take it away, Bev. We never read the topic and thing.
Yes, we did.
Oh, maybe was it when I dipped out?
No, it was right before that when I did my intro. Do you want me to read it again?
Oh, maybe you did get it and I just wasn't paying attention. So, did you heard the topic, right, Bev?
Well, I don't know. Something about an angle on horizontals, or then whether horizontal planes are parallel.
Right. Whether two horizontal planes, independently established in two different locations, are parallel to each other.
Uh-huh.
All right, take it away. It's your job to try to convince me and the audience that all horizontal planes are parallel.
Okay. Right, welcome. I am Bev Try Thinking, for anybody that doesn't know. I know it's on this channel, but other people might be broadcasting it too. I've been involved in this, call it arena, for quite a while. A lot of people have said that these basic facts lead to other situations and other conclusions. Well, I'm just here to say that a horizontal, in reality, does exist. It's used within the trades. It's how buildings are built. So the question is whether level is horizontal. So level being a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference would be the way that we establish the horizontal to start off with. Now, the question then would become, or for this particular debate, whether that horizontal plane, level being a horizontal, has a chance of being parallel to another horizontal. and if you have a reasoning process that would normally go along the lines of things that you've seen within the school system, then you would say that the horizontals are parallel, at least locally. Well, the question here within this debate depends on, I guess, the size of a horizontal plane, where the tool, a water level, is one of the tools for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. So that horizontal plane of reference locally to the water level would be a horizontal between 2 points, point A and point B, quite simply. Now I can go over the whiteboard, how we actually establish that, but I think Jesse's going to say those sort of things. So for opening remarks, I would say that in order for you to say whether horizontals are parallel, first of all, you have to establish a horizontal. And that seems to be the main consideration, because once you can establish a horizontal, then it's pretty obvious that there can be other horizontals that would be parallel to it. So I think I'll end there, hand over to Jesse to see where the rest of the debate wants to go.
Do you have any actual physical evidence that all horizontals are parallel, or are you conceding that there very well may be some that aren't parallel, but only certain sets of horizontals are parallel?
No, that was just my opening remarks. I was handing it over to you whether you wanted to go over your opening remarks.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, I would like to present some evidence. The only problem is I can't decide which evidence is the best. So I will start with 2. Yeah, 2. Okay.
Could you just say evidence of what? Like, give us your opening remarks of like what are you here for? Because you did ask for this debate. So can you just tell everyone that, you know, what this debate is to you?
Okay, so if you will all turn your attention to the diagram I have just posted into the live debate text chat. This is an auto level shot of the Blackpool Tower from Parbold Bottle in the UK, about 20 miles away from the Blackpool Tower. Now, the observer was at an elevation of 395 foot eye level. The top of the tower is at a level of 500 feet. And yet somehow the entire tower appeared below eye level. So if you were to take and draw a straight line through the open air from the observer to the tower and put a bubble level on that straight line, you would find that the straight line was sloping downward towards the top of the 500-foot tower. Now, I posit to you that if you were to go to the top of that 500-foot tower and draw a straight line down to the 400-foot high ground elevation, that line would also be sloping down. Now, these two lines are lined up in the same location between the same 2 points, and yet they are not parallel. So I have given an example of 2 lines that are not parallel. And I think it's clear to see that had the observer been at the same height at both ends, he would have been looking at a sloped down angle to the other end, but going both ways. So my question to you, Bev, is how can these two horizontals be parallel if they're at different angles to each other? How can they both be sloping down in opposite directions, crossing in the middle, and yet you still say they're parallel?
Talking about the Stadia hairs and the crosshair.
No, not the stadia hairs, the crosshair, the center ones. The stadia are the ones that are above and below the center
Yeah,
horizontal
they'd be
one.
parallel, right?
The two stadia hairs are parallel to each other, but
Yeah.
that's not what I'm
And they're
talking about.
parallel to the center line also, aren't they?
Yes.
So all three lines are parallel to one another in there.
Right.
Okay. But you're not
And
talking
parallel
about that,
to-
are you? You're not talking about those horizontals being parallel.
No, I'm talking about the horizontal that is formed between 2 points of equal elevation at a distance.
Yes. Why are you using a picture that you can't verify?
I forensically verified it.
Verified what?
That you guys had correctly set up that auto level.
How?
Well, it is statistically implausible that you accidentally set it up incorrectly such that it matched the globe. And it is also
Well, we know
impossible.
everyone knows 'tis globe, right? But
And-
how did you verify that the picture matched the globe? I mean, other than the fact that it's a picture of the globe, obviously.
Well, I'll get there. And I know that it's impossible that you intentionally set it up incorrectly to match the globe because you don't know the math required to do that.
Okay.
And
But
so here's how I figured out that it matches the globe so well. So I looked up the model for your instrument, and I found out that it has a 1 to 100 stadia ratio. And I also knew the distance to Parbold because our good friend 3DP told me where he was, and I confirmed it on Google Earth. I matched it up perfectly. And because I knew the distance and the angular separation of the 1 to 100 stadia hairs, I was able to calculate the exact pixels per foot ratio at 21 or 20.1 miles. So using that, I could tell exactly
pictures
how far...
per foot, pixels per foot.
Yes, sirree. 1.045 feet per pixel. It's even in the red text on the right side near the bottom.
How many pixels? You're talking about pixels of the camera that took the picture?
Nah, just pixels of the picture that you're looking at.
Okay, wow, this is beyond me. This is pixel for distance.
Well, no, pixel for height.
Yeah, distance, a vertical distance, right?
Right, exactly. Well,
that's what height is.
If I know the angle, you're a surveyor, right, Bev? You know this. If I know the angle and the distance.
I'm a carer. I'm not a surveyor.
Oh, but you understand a little bit about trigonometry, right? Well, maybe you will after this. Let me post a diagram and then revert back to this. This one has the approval of our friend George, Rambling George. So it's called tree geometry, and it's for measuring the heights of trees. And if you know the angle and the baseline distance, you can calculate the height. And because the auto level, wherever that picture went to, has a known Stadia ratio. I know exactly how many degrees of angular separation is between the two Stadia hairs, and I know the distance. So with the angle and the distance, I know that at 20.1 miles, each pixel represents 1.045 feet of elevation. And so with that, I can calculate how many feet the 500-foot tower would have to stick up above its current level in order to appear at eye level, right? Does that make sense, or are we lost?
No, the right angle is required in the distance over there in order for you to do this, because you're doing trigonometry, obviously. You require a right angle, a relationship between vertical and horizontal, where the tree is.
Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying about missing angular elevation angle, looking both ways, or not?
Because you've got plumb there as well on the device. So plumb and level, would they be perpendicular? Like
on the crosshairs?
like horizontal and vertical? No, on your drawing. Because you've got plumb and level in your drawing, and that, I take it, that's 90 degrees. The relationship between plumb and level is a right angle.
Yes.
Perpendicular.
That's why you can see the guy right there. The little guy right there. Well, that makes it a right angle.
Yeah, but the triangle that you're using has the right angle where the tree is, doesn't it? The trigonometry uses the right angle over there, so that's perpendicular to level also, isn't it?
Well, all we really know is that it's perpendicular to the horizontal line projected by the crosshairs in the auto level.
In the distance, like, so if you're holding a measuring rod, like I'm often pictured, that measuring rod has to be held vertical, and that's because it has to be perpendicular to the crosshairs when reading it. That's the reason why you rock it backwards and forwards, right? To get it, make sure it's vertical.
All right, let me present my next point of evidence.
Well, is this evidence that you've got two perpendiculars to your level?
This is evidence that not all horizontal planes on Earth are parallel to each other.
It's a different picture.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'll pull it up. Unless you want to turn. Is there something you would like to
No,
rebut?
I think, is this still your opening remarks? Because
Okay.
I mean, it seems like you're full into it. You'll have to let us know when the pictures are coming, because the chat's moving pretty fast.
All right, the picture has come.
Okay.
All right, so this is my setup. I assumed levelness just for you, Bev. And I set up a telescope.
What do you mean by that? You assumed levelness for me?
Well, because when you say level, you mean flat. So
I don't.
I drew this.
I don't.
Well, okay.
When I say level, I mean the tool that establishes a horizontal condition, right? That's what I mean.
Could I ask you a question, Bev? You can pass it if you want, but I
Yeah.
do have a question. Do you believe that the surface of large bodies of water at rest is essentially planar in nature, or spherical in nature, or none of the above, or what's your take on that?
I would say that a water level, which essentially I think is what you're trying to say there, really, because that's just one body of water. that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Yeah.
That's not precisely what I answered, is it? Or asked. So, would you say that? Do you know what a plane is? Just
In
describe
geometry.
a plane to me. Yeah, in geometry, describe
It's
a
just
plane.
two-dimensional, length and breadth.
Okay. So, would you say that the surface of water at rest essentially falls along the contour of a horizontal plane?
Yeah.
Flat
A water level establishes 2 points of an equal altitude, and the shortest distance between those 2 points would be a horizontal, which means those 2 points would exist on a horizontal plane.
Well, I didn't ask about a water level. I asked about a large body of water.
Which is a body of water, which would be level.
Repeat it after me, Bev. A large body of water at rest. Try that. Say a large. Say it with me.
As indicated within a tube, a large body. How large do you want to make it? Lengthwise?
Like a lake. Let's maybe like a 1 mile by 1 mile square lake.
Okay,
yeah.
A mile.
Yeah.
So we just get a mile water level.
That's right. You're in the kilometer world. So what is it? 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers roughly? Would you say that the surface of that lake most closely approximates a plane, or a portion of a sphere, a portion of a cylinder, a portion of a dinosaur? What would you say what geometric shape would you say most closely represents that surface of that 2 by 2 kilometer lake at rest?
It was square, wasn't it? 2 by 2. So square, that shape.
Well, but what about the surface topology? I feel like you're...
What's the surface topology of a square?
Well, I feel like you're kind of avoiding the question, Bev, because...
You've asked me what shape it is. I've told you it's a square.
Well,
you want to ask me what the surface of a square is? Well, you know that. It's 2D.
Well, is it a 2D spherical surface with a constant radius, or is it a 2D planar surface?
Two-dimensional is length and breadth. It's a plane. A square is a plane surface, isn't it? It's a plane figure. Superficies.
Well, you could have approximately a...
We should have come to these terms. I thought we all understood this. It was about horizontal planes, isn't it? Where the horizontal planes are parallel. And I said it right at the very beginning. Can a horizontal exist? Looks like that's where we are right now.
Well, now, it is possible to have an approximately 2 by 2 kilometer square on the surface of a large enough sphere. Would you agree? Are you familiar with the grid system that the UK uses?
Yes.
Okay, check out this picture.
The grid coordinate system.
Yes, sir. Check out this picture I just put. Isn't that lovely? I took a piece of paper, I printed out a scale size of the grid system to match my globe, and then I got it wet, just like real globe makers do. And I very carefully worked it onto the surface of my globe until it followed the spherical surface, even though it had started out as flat paper. So anyway, so you agreed that in your opinion, the surface of the lake at rest most closely approximates a plane. Is that right? Mic check.
It's not a plane, that picture that you did. It's on a surface of a sphere.
Well,
that's not a plane.
No, I'm not asking you to say that that's a plane. I'm asking you to confirm that you did agree that you would you would say that a 2 by 2 kilometer approximately lake at rest would have a surface which most closely approximated a plane. Is that fair, or am I misrepresenting you?
Look, if you want to establish a horizontal plane of reference, you will get 4 water levels. You could do that, right? Imagine 4 water levels, all of the length of, what was it, 2 kilometers? Let's do that. Let's have 4 2-kilometer water levels and go from A to B to C to D.
Well, let's keep it simple.
Let's
start out
that
with...
would establish a horizontal plane of reference. All 4 of the water levels would match up together, and you would have a horizontal plane, wouldn't you? Established in between.
Well, I find it immensely curious, and I think the audience should too, that you don't want to answer the question about whether you think that the surface of a lake at rest most closely approximates a plane. You seem to not want to even talk about it. You could say yes or no, or you don't know, or it's more complex, but you just avoid the question.
No, I will tell you again, Jesse, a plane is 2-dimensional, right? It doesn't actually exist. It's missing one of the vital dimensions for it to be real. So for me to say that the surface of a lake most approximates that which isn't real is ridiculous for me to be able to say that. So that's why I don't say it. That's why I say, if we want to establish a horizontal plane of reference, then do that with the tool, the water level. You can be precise with those words, using those things. I don't know why you want to muddy the waters to get people to admit that the surface of a lake most closely resembles something that doesn't actually exist in reality.
Well, a plane is a definition. Would
Length
you say that
and breadth.
Would you say that a flat sheet of glass reasonably represents a plane, or is most closely similar to a plane than any other geometry?
Yeah, I think everybody understands what a plane is from childhood. We learn what squares and circles are, don't we?
See, I find this fascinating. I'm asking about the surface, and you repeatedly divert to the perimeter. Well, why do you do that, Bev?
What do you mean the perimeter?
Well, I ask about the surface of the lake, and you say, yeah, it's a square lake. Well, square is not the topology of the surface. Square is the shape of the perimeter, right? The path of the perimeter.
Well, the surface isn't actually a plane, is it?
Well, if all plumbs are perpendicular, or all plumbs are parallel to each other, and all horizontals are perpendicular to all plumbs, and level is perpendicular to plumb, then the surface of the water would have to approximate a plane. But look at this here.
In your mind.
Let's just say
Okay.
because I think you admit to yourself that you believe that the surface of water at rest most closely approximates a plane. So let's just go with that. You can, if you would like to choose another topology that you think it most closely represents, then say something. But I set up this this measurement where I had a telescope, an angle measuring telescope, also known as a theodolite, which I used to measure the angle to a flashlight in the middle and a flashlight at the far end. You see my little diagram there?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Excellent. So the telescope and the 2 flashlights were both the same height above the surface of the water. So that means if the surface of the water was essentially planar, then the telescope and the 2 flashlights would also be all within a level horizontal plane 5 feet above the surface, or 4 feet above the surface, right? Are we on the same page there?
So you could set up a water level at 3 points there, couldn't you?
Well,
5 feet above the water it would be, wouldn't it?
Isn't the lake kind of a big water level? I mean, I figured if God made it, why do I need to make,
A
you know,
water
he
level
made me
would
one.
confirm it, wouldn't it? A water level would be precise, because a water level is actually a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, not a lake.
Well,
You don't get lakes to establish horizontal planes of reference.
oh, so you're saying that the surface level in a communicating water tube level system would form a different surface topology than the surface of a lake at rest? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying the lake is not level?
I think you might be confusing the water of the level within the lake, because that's a vertical. That's on the vertical datum, that level. Like eye level. Right? They're just vertical height measurements. You require a tool called a level to be able to say that these points on the vertical datum are equal. That's the use of the tool, the level.
I wonder, are you not aware that the word level has a few different meanings, and one of them is no point at a higher elevation than another point?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we agree that this lake at rest the surface of this lake at rest is level?
The water level of the lake would be established on the vertical datum. Yes, that would be.
I realize.
And then, like I say, if you would then want to use water levels to encompass this square lake, you would find that the water levels establish a horizontal plane of reference, and they would be an equal distance above the water.
Well, so I'm aware that the word level has a few different meanings. One is, like you said, with reference to a vertical datum, how many inches above or below a reference point. But there's another meaning, which means no point higher or lower than any other point, which is a different meaning, which is what defines whether a surface is level. Do you understand that distinction there? I know you do.
This stuff I'm
Okay.
talking about doing, Jesse, he's talking about doing it in reality, right? The real globe. When we go out there, we can actually do these things that I'm talking about. It would be a big test, right? But as I think we're hoping to get to, that horizontal can definitely exist. These tests can be done because of these understandings of horizontal and vertical being perpendicular in the real globe, right? That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
Well, no, we're talking about whether
not.
all horizontals, or whether all horizontal planes on Earth established in different locations are parallel. That's what we're talking about. And so that's why I'm trying to establish with you this very simple fact, or this very simple question of whether the surface, I'm not talking about the elevation of the surface, I'm talking about the levelness of the surface. Do we agree that the surface of the lake at rest is level? That is to say, no portion of the surface higher or lower than any other portion of the surface of the lake. Can we agree on that one?
Since there would be ripples and motion, probably fish or whatever, then I don't think you could say that.
Well, let's say.
But you could say, if you were to take a water level, the tool, and encompass this square area with 4 water levels, I would say you could say that they establish a horizontal plane of reference. Definitely.
Well, let's say
without question, right?
Let's say that all the fish jumped over the edge of the.
Why are you trying to make a fancy scenario? Let's just use the water levels.
Well, we have an amazing water level here, and we don't even have to question whether the tube is clogged because it's a lake. And I think if we can't come to the simple agreement of whether the surface of a lake at rest, we can specify that there's no fish, there's no wind, it's a perfectly glassy, smooth water lake. By the way, glassy smooth is an expression. It doesn't mean it's made of glass, it just means it's like smooth like glass often is. So, do you agree that a glassy smooth lake at rest would be, the surface of it would be level?
Would be,
What's that?
the level of a lake is measured on the vertical datum. That's what you would call this thing, right? When you have eye level or the level of a lake or the mean sea level or sea level, right? That's measured on the vertical datum. That's
Okay,
one
well,
of the meanings of level.
Well, you obviously don't want to answer the question I'm asking. I know that you know there's two meanings of level, and I know that you're intentionally switching
I'm
from
telling
what
you,
I'm
these are the
using.
two meanings. One of them is a vertical. It's on the vertical datum. It's just a measurement of your eye level from your feet, all right? That's one of the meanings of level. The other is the tool, the level that establishes equal altitudes.
And
So you can be sure that this altitude over here of your eye is the same altitude as over there, the other end of the water level tool.
so, what word would you like to use to describe a lake where no part of the surface
Why are
is
you
higher?
so transfixed about the lake?
Well, because my friend, it's your Achilles heel, and I may not be a great debater. I don't even think I'm a good debater, but I do know that when you know your opponent's Achilles heel, you kind of have to chase it.
Okay, right. Well, let's say the debate is supposed to be whether horizontals are parallel or not. And
Well,
are you trying to establish for you and for the audience's benefit that a lake is a horizontal plane of reference? Is that what you're trying to say?
no,
No.
a level reference.
Okay.
That's why I use the word level instead of horizontal.
Okay, so what is a horizontal to you? Can you explain what a horizontal is to you and the reason, the purpose is they cannot be parallel?
Well, I would love to, and I hope to, but my argument kind of needs you to accept what everybody here knows is true, and that is that a lake at rest is level.
Right, your argument. So what is your argument? Can we start the debate and you can present your argument?
Well, you see, when you have a discussion with somebody, you have to speak the same language as they do, or you can't make an argument that they will understand. And part of the language of geometry is what the understanding of what a level surface is and what a flat surface or a planar surface is. And you seem quite reluctant to agree to a common understanding of what level and planar means.
So level is a planar surface, right?
Well, that assumes a flat Earth.
No, it
If
doesn't.
Earth,
We're just trying to establish to you what level and horizontal are, because I mean I've been trying to explain that you use a tool called a level to establish a horizontal plane of reference. So the horizontal plane of reference is sort of dictated to particularly by the water water level. It's natural, just one body of water. That's all that's required for a water level.
Okay, let me try this approach. Maybe this will help. look at my. Are you still got my little diagram with the little one-eyed guy and the? I wonder if that's Jeremy. Anyway, the one-eyed guy and the two flashlights. Do you still have that up? Should I share my screen? I could do that.
Will probably be better.
Oh, okay. Let me share my screen. Is that okay, Mr. Moderator?
The chat's moving pretty fast.
Yeah. I'm scrolled way up looking at my own picture. I will share my screen. Just give me 2 seconds.
I don't understand what your argument is yet. Are you saying that horizontal planes aren't parallel? Is that?
I'm saying my argument is that multiple or that different horizontal planes established in different locations on the surface of Earth are not parallel to each other. That is my claim.
Okay. So would that be like A and B? They're two different locations. Like in the case of a water level, you have a tube of whatever length you want. Pick a length. A mile?
How about 1.5 mile, or how about 3 miles with a tap in the middle?
3.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a bit excessive, right? I mean, you could do it over a mile, couldn't you? I'm talking about actually doing this. This is something that people can visualize.
All right. My screen share.
1 mile. 1 mile's a good one because the numbers are already set, aren't they?
Well, just pretend it's 1 mile then, okay? But my diagram says 1.5. Okay. You got my screen share up?
Yeah, let me just adjust it.
Oh, I forgot my intro. I am Jesse, who gave up thinking long ago. There. That was like a Bev who thinks, and I'm Jesse who doesn't think. You got it all adjusted there?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's say I hung a plumb line right here. Okay? Pardon my excellent and amazing artistic scribble there. Would it be perpendicular to the surface of the water?
Would it be? I'd hope
Yes.
so.
Do you believe it would be?
Yeah.
You're honest? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say I hung another one right here.
Okay. This is A and B. We have this. Have you ever heard the thing that Emma did? Advanced Simplicity.
I think that was a long time ago.
A and B. Imagine at Bedford levels, there's 2 bridges, A and B, and plumbobs.
We should see if we could get them to rename it to the Bevford levels.
I doubt they'd do that.
Yeah, well, I wonder if they'd rename it to the Gordon levels.
So here, this is what you're doing here. You're talking about 2 points, A and B, at a distance.
So, do you believe this second plumb bob would also be perpendicular to the surface?
Yeah, that would be vertical, right? Plumb bob. 2 plumb bobs, establishing 2 verticals.
Right. Perpendicular, though, to the surface of the water there?
Vertical.
Why don't you answer my questions, Bev? I would like to point out...
A plumb bob just establishes a vertical.
I would like to point out to the audience here that Bev is refusing to answer multiple key questions that are very simple, and I think that should be taken note of there. Okay, you can take note of things too if you want, Bev. So, do you believe this second plumb bob would be perpendicular to the surface of the water at its location?
It will be vertical.
Do you know what perpendicular means?
Yes.
Okay, define perpendicular for
It's
me.
a relationship between two lines where
What is that
all
relationship?
of the right angles are equal. It's all about
Oh,
equal angles and the relationship between these two lines or planes.
okay. So are you claiming that the angle here and the angle here, sorry, I'm a bad mouse artist, are equal? Is that what you're claiming?
No, I'm saying that's a vertical. You'd need to be able to establish a horizontal plane of reference, wouldn't you?
So are you? Why don't you just say yes or no, Bev? You already said that this first plumb bob would be perpendicular to the water, right?
I'm
Or
saying,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah. Everybody can get it. Like, you're not just talking to me. You're establishing a plumb bob at A and a plumb bob at B.
All right. So are we on the same page? Both plumb bobs will be perpendicular to the water under them, the surface of the calm, restful water under them, right?
I don't know. Isn't that what we're checking? But we do know that they would be vertical because that's what plumb bobs do. They establish a vertical. So we've got a vertical at A and a vertical at B.
So
Please
so help,
continue.
well, help me out here. I think you just said that we don't know that this plumb bob would be perpendicular to the surface of the calm, restful water underneath it. If that's
Apparently, we don't know. Yeah, because this is your establishing what the because the things about horizontals being parallel, right? So carry on, because the verticals are definitely established at A and B.
so are you saying there's a possibility that either the plumb line is not plumb or that the water surface is not level? Because if the plumb line is plumb and the surface is level, then they're perpendicular to each other, right? So are you saying there's a possibility that they are not perpendicular to each other in the real world?
Jesse, please, time will be limited, right? Are we having a debate? Because is this your opening part for you to tell us? Because it seems like you've not made a position. You've not made an argument. I'm here in the affirmative to say that horizontals are parallel. Now, what is the case that you're making? Because, like I said at the beginning, can we establish that a horizontal plane does and can exist, can be established in reality, the real globe?
All right, let's try. Let's try. Okay, so what I did on this day is I set up these flashlights and the telescope, the same height, all the same height above the surface of the water. And then I measured the angle from here. And I wrote it down. And then I measured the angle to the second flashlight. And I wrote that down. Now, can we agree that a line straight from any one of these points to any other point is a horizontal line?
You've got a telescope measuring angles, as far as I can see in your picture.
It was actually a Nikon DTM 420 theodolite.
Okay,
Not DMT, DTM.
So it wasn't a telescope. It was a
Well, they have a
theodolite.
telescope built in,
Okay.
and I was using it as a telescope as well. It magnifies like 26x times. It's pretty. Oh, you know about stuff like that. So back to my question though, and this is I'm trying to make my point, but we need to have some common understanding. Is a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation a horizontal line? Yes, no, don't know. Too complex. What's your take on that?
Did you measure an angle in the vertical plane? With this telescope, or were you measuring an angle in the horizontal plane with the telescope?
Well, since you didn't answer my question, I will assume that you agree that a straight line between any 2 points of equal elevation is a horizontal line? Okay, I measured the vertical angle from my vantage point to each flashlight independently, and they measured differently. So this is the dilemma. One of them I measured, say, here. And the other one I measured about there. So that's just, it's not to scale, but it illustrates the point. So if these, if we agreed, as I assume you did earlier, that a straight line between any 2 points of equal elevation is a horizontal line, then the measurement from the theodolite to the first flashlight was a horizontal line, and the measurement from the theodolite to the second flashlight was also a horizontal line. And yet, they were at different angles. So I present this as evidence that not all horizontal planes on Earth established in different locations, they're not all parallel. So I have presented in my very long opening statement, and thank you for allowing me that, Bev. I have presented evidence, real world evidence, that not all horizontal planes in different locations on Earth are parallel. Would you like to cross-examine me or present any evidence that all horizontal planes established on Earth are parallel to each other?
Yeah, I've got arguments and all sorts.
Cool. So you brought arguments to an evidence battle?
Yeah,
Don't you need
this is a
data?
debate, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I did have a question for you, Bev. Do you believe that we can prove the physical topology of something without ever measuring it, just by using pure logic? Or do we actually need some actual physical measurements to start with before we can get all wax eloquent in our measurements?
Yeah, we can perform these tests in reality, like you. Can I just go back to your drawing? Is your claim that those two orange lines are horizontals?
Well, my claim is that they were essentially straight lines between 2 points of equal elevation. Obviously, that doesn't line up perfectly on my little graph because I drew a flat lake, but when I measured, they were at different angles, and yet they were 2 points of equal elevation. So you tell me, do you believe that a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation is a horizontal line? Do you believe that, or do you not believe that? Or do you not understand the question?
Yeah, a water level is the tool for establishing an equal altitude. That's a water level tool. You've got flashlights measured. I take it measured vertical distance, like a vertical level above the water.
Yes, I put them all 4 feet above the water for one test, and then all 5 feet above the water for the next test.
And yet, it seems as though your conclusion is that the water is sloping away.
Well, I don't know if sloping is exactly the right term.
But and you say this is over 3 miles.
The farthest one was, about 3 miles.
Okay, and do you know, like, you measured an angle? Do you know how much lower? Because this is, I take it, these distances that you're saying for the slope, that would be done trigonometrically type thing. You would establish a horizontal, would you?
The distances? No, I got the distances off of Google Earth.
What, the total distances? But what about the actual distance, the opposite to the angle measured? The opposite side of the angle.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, you've got a slope, haven't you? You've got your horizontals, the orange lines, they're sloping.
Right. Yeah, they
Down.
measured from the end point. They
Measured.
measured as sloping, and they measured as sloping differently.
Right.
So
what did they measure about those lines?
let's see here.
So I take it there's an angle measured, because you did say there was an angle measured. So are you measuring an angle between those two lines? Which is the angle? Is it the angles between those two orange lines, which would be, in your case, horizontals, right?
Well, if we can agree that a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation is a horizontal line, then those were horizontals, yes.
And that angle in between them is an angle between two horizontals.
Exactly.
Is that the angle that you measured?
Well, I measured the elevation angle of the one and the elevation angle of the other, and they were different. They were both a downward slope, and the farther one was more of a downward slope. Oh, I think I just realized where I can get those numbers handy. Here, hold on.
So if you were to do trigonometry, right, would the 1.5 miles and 1.5 miles be that slope distance, or i.e. the hypotenuse? In terms of trigonometry.
The hypotenuse. I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, you said you measured an angle, and I asked you, was it in between the two horizontals that you have pictured? You said no, you measured two angles, and I'm asking you now, where's the other line that you've got? Where does that come from? Because if you've measured angles, where is that other line? What is it?
Oh, you mean the level that I'm measuring with reference to?
Yeah.
Oh, that is a bubble level and a level compensator in the instrument.
So would that be level or would that be horizontal?
In the instrument, level, definitely.
Level, right. And like you said, the level drops, is it? There's two horizontals that your theodolite gave you for horizontal, right?
Here, let me
You said that they were sloping, but horizontals don't slope.
Okay, so how then do you explain my measurements to an angle from the end of a straight line where both ends were of an equal elevation? If horizontals don't slope, then why did I measure a slope between 2 points of equal elevation?
You said you measured an angle. What was the angle measured from? Is that from another horizontal?
No, it was from level. Do you know what an elevation angle is? Yeah, do you know what an elevation angle is?
Yeah, but level is being horizontal, right?
No, level.
Okay.
That means perpendicular to plumb.
Right, and perpendicular, plumb's a straight line, so perpendicular to a straight line, plumb, would be horizontal, right? That's what horizontals are. They're perpendicular to vertical.
You could say I measured relative to a horizontal established with the tangent point of at my observer location, if you want to say it that way.
At your theodolite. So you've got a horizontal coming out, and then you're measuring an angle from that horizontal to two different horizontals. Yeah,
here, let me show you.
You deem one of these other horizontals as sloping, but horizontals don't slope. I don't know.
Well, I'm presenting evidence that if you're not at the tangent point, you will measure what appears to be a slope. And can you see the new picture on my screen share?
It's not a horizontal then, is it, if it's got a slope?
Can you see my new screen share? It's a photo.
Yeah, I've still got it on my screen, yeah. Everyone can see it.
Let's see, did I not change to... Let me see what I changed to. Yeah, can you see the kind of a dark picture with the white print?
Yeah.
It shows some crosshairs. Okay, cool. All right, so I leveled out my theodolite. So the crosshairs, this is just like looking through an auto level at this point because I leveled it out.
Yeah. You say
And you
the
can...
theodolite set to straight and level.
Oh, yes, sir. And horizontal, too.
Okay.
So, now, you'll see this is the near light right here. I'm circling it in red at 1.5 miles. And then this is the farther light. And then these are the reflections. So, you can see that for some reason, these lights appeared at different vertical angles. Okay, can we agree on that? Can we agree that the light coming from these two different lights was at different angles than each other and then horizontal or eye level, straight out?
Well, I'd say in the picture that we're looking at there, yeah. But, you know, pictures taken through theodolite and auto levels aren't useful for any type of surveying, right? You do know that, right?
Well, that does not address the point of why there was a lower angle to the near light and an even lower angle to the far light. If a horizontal line is level at all points, then both of those lights should have appeared right up here on this line, right?
Look, Jesse, the debate is whether horizontal planes are parallel.
Well, do you see how I've presented evidence of two horizontal lines being non-parallel?
The crosshairs would be horizontal, right?
Yes, the crosshairs are projecting a horizontal by horizontal line right here.
Okay.
They're
And
straight
then,
out.
let's say you move that crosshair down a hair, say, or two, then
Okay.
that would be parallel. That horizontal and the horizontal that you've got there would be parallel. At least on the screen.
Okay, let's switch.
So you
screen
do
share.
have a device there, don't you, that does establish within the crosshairs a vertical and horizontal that are perpendicular.
Right. Okay, so look here. I've tilted it down now. Let's see, it says the two flashlights and the theodolite were all 48 inches above the water. Had to point the theodolite 0.023 degrees down to line it up to the far light, even though they were at the same height.
Did you present that on Ranties?
No,
Did somebody present that at Ranties? Looks familiar.
Well, I mean, I don't remember. Maybe I did. I think Ranty kind of got out of Flat Earth about the time I got into it, so I'm not sure. But, I wonder. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But the question remains, this far light, well, first the statement comes, this far flashlight here, and I do apologize for the exposure. If it's not showing up, I can try to increase the contrast. But the far flashlight is at the same height as the observer. So if we agree that a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation, which this is a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation, then that would be a horizontal line. And yet I am measuring 0.023 degrees down from level at one end of this horizontal line. So if all plumbs are parallel and all horizontals are parallel to each other, then how am I measuring a downward slope at the end of a horizontal line? And the second question here is, you can see that if I wanted to also line the crosshairs up with the middle light, I would have to bring it up. I couldn't leave it down here, so I can't line it up with both at the same time. I can choose the one or the other, which quite clearly demonstrates that those two horizontal lines, the one to the middle light and the one to the far light, those two planes are not parallel. Would you agree with that, or do you have a comment, or what is your rebuttal to my evidence? This is real life evidence. I've got videos that you can watch that I took these screenshots from. I'm not making this up, and in fact, I will drop them in the chat right now while you rebut this very powerful evidence of two horizontal planes being non-parallel to each other, even though they overlap part of each other.
Okay, I don't think we've actually got there, right? So you've got 2 points, A and B, and they're separated by a distance. Now, like I've been saying all along, the way to do this, to establish a level between the two, would be to get a tool called a water level. Dead simple. All it needs is a tube long enough to stretch from A to B. Fill it up with water, make sure there's no bubbles in it, airlocks or whatever. And the 2 points at A and B will be at an equal altitude, an equal vertical level. So that's how you'd know that, and in between those 2 points, obviously, geometrically would be the shortest distance between A and B. That line would be a horizontal line. Very simple. Now that horizontal line would lie on a horizontal plane, which would be equally horizontal in every direction. Now that can be established in reality. That's all I'm here to say. And that happens on the real globe for everyone. You can check this yourself. Jesse seems very unsure about what he's stating and what his claim is.
Oh, my claim was very clear. I clearly demonstrated two horizontal lines, partially overlapping nonetheless, that are at different angles, which by definition means they're not parallel to each other. And but you're claiming that they are parallel.
I'm claiming that A to B is the same as B to A. They're both horizontal. They're both the same horizontal. If you establish a horizontal from A to B, then that's the same horizontal as from B to A.
So how then do you explain the difference in angle of these two horizontals that I measured on our real Earth?
You just measured an angle.
Well, are you denying that those were horizontal lines, even though they were essentially straight lines between 2 points of equal elevation?
Well, can you establish a horizontal between A and B?
Well, I think if I have a essentially straight line between 2 points of equal elevation, it is a horizontal line. But I noticed you refused to answer that question when I asked you. So maybe we should answer that since you brought it up so kindly. Do you believe that a straight line between 2 points of equal elevation is a horizontal line?
Yes, water level, like I've said, establishes equal altitude.
Okay.
That's a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay.
That's what I said all along, Jesse. I don't know. You've been trying to say something that when you measure an angle from A to B, it slopes. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I'm saying that when I measure the end of a horizontal line, not at the tangent point, that it is not level. That's what I'm saying. So are you agreeing with me that a lake at perfect rest the surface is level?
I think we don't need to go over it again. When you talk of the level of a lake, you're talking about a vertical water level, like a sea level or like eye level. They're just a vertical level measurement.
Well, are you aware that there's two meanings of the word level? One is a vertical distance, and one is the state of having no portion higher or lower than any other portion, or area point. No point higher or lower than any other point. Are you aware of that usage?
No slope. Yes, like a horizontal. Like horizontals don't slope, level doesn't change elevation.
Oh, maybe we should work on that. What makes you think that? Also, are you
Altitude.
claiming that all points of a horizontal are level?
Yes, the tool, a water level, would establish a horizontal plane of reference. That works anywhere. Everywhere, in fact. Anyone can do that. They can use a water level to establish a horizontal plane of reference.
Right, but the water could be curving, it could still be level, but it wouldn't be a plane, right? If the water was curving, then it could be level, but not a plane, right?
A horizontal plane of reference is definitely a plane. Yes.
Okay, so if it was curving, it would not be a plane, right?
It wouldn't be horizontal, because horizontals don't curve.
Okay, so are horizontals level at all points or only at one point? You're claiming that horizontals are level at all points, right?
No, I'm claiming that all horizontals are parallel. Now, if you want to be able to prove that to yourself, then you use a tool that establishes a horizontal. In order for you to scientifically validate this to yourself within reality, you have to use things within reality on the real globe, right? So you go to a shop and you buy a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference, and then you find some way to use your reasoning ability to establish whether that tool does actually establish a horizontal plane of reference or not. Right? You check to see whether the straight line lies within a plane. If that's your understanding of level, a tool level establishing a horizontal plane of reference.
I wanted to buy the lake, but I couldn't afford it. But are you saying that the surface of the lake at rest is not level, or that it is level? Why do you keep bringing up the water level tool when we have a lake that's at rest? What would cause the lake to not be level?
How are you going to establish parallel with a lake? There's not much you can do with it. You're going to have to employ a water level at some point to be able to establish a check scientifically, aren't you?
So you want me to use water to see if water is different than water?
To see whether a horizontal is established. A horizontal plane can be established within reality, because that's what we're checking here, right? It's just putting horizontal planes on your globe, because they obviously do. People do it all the time.
Okay. So did you concede that, or agree that, or say that horizontal lines are only level at one point, but not over their full distance if they're long?
No, a horizontal line is horizontal the entire length of the line.
Well, I didn't ask if it was horizontal. I asked if it was level the entire length of the line.
Wow.
Do you know the difference between horizontal and level?
Oh, go. You tell us.
Well, okay. I have it. Is it okay if I use a dictionary definition?
Please explain.
Yeah, I just dropped it in the chat and I will read it. Horizontal. This is from the Science and Technology section of the McGraw-Hill Scientific and Technical Terms Dictionary, 6E, copyright 2003 by McGraw-Hill Companies Incorporated. Okay, horizontal. By the way, you gave this to me, Bev, years ago, and this is your highlighting, I believe. So I've always been grateful for this. Horizontal, being in a plane perpendicular to the gravitational field, that is, perpendicular to a plumb line at a, I would like to note that a is singular, given point on the Earth's surface. So, according to the definition that you gave me all those years ago, the technical definition, not the nursery rhymes definition or the one for the school children, or the actual technical definition here, is that a horizontal lies in a plane that is perpendicular to a plumb line at a single point above Earth's surface. So what that means is it's only level, that is perpendicular to plumb, at one point. And then as you go farther from that tangent point where it's perpendicular to plumb, it becomes non-level. So I've shown real-world field evidence. I've given videos that show that this is true. And I've given a technical dictionary definition that a horizontal line is not level along its full length. And I guess we would all love to hear you give some real-world evidence that a horizontal line is level at all points. Or concede that it's not level at all points. And I'm saying level, not horizontal, right?
Why are you bringing up a definition of horizontal one?
Well, you asked what I thought horizontal meant.
Yeah, but you're saying that's not what level is. So when I asked you what level was, you chose to tell me what horizontal was, which isn't. Right? That's not level, right? Is what you're saying. Or what are you saying? Because I'll agree with that, right? It's a plane perpendicular to the plumb, right? And the plumb's only a point, but you can have that point everywhere, can't you? Anywhere where you establish a plumb, that's at a point, isn't it? Like that plumb is only where that plumb is. And horizontal is perpendicular to that. And since you can establish plumb anywhere, horizontal is perpendicular to that. Always. Everywhere. Horizontal is perpendicular to plumb.
So,
but you said earlier, right, that level is perpendicular to plumb.
Level is in fact perpendicular to plumb.
Well, this one there conflates horizontal with plumb by the fact that it's perpendicular. That's the same. So that understanding of perpendicular that it's talking about within this science and technology is the same understanding of the perpendicular geometrically, isn't it? Being at right angles.
So did you say, are you saying that if we established a horizontal plane that we could put a plumb line at two different locations?
A and B. You could definitely have a plumb line at A and B.
And both plumb lines would be perpendicular to that horizontal plane at their point of tangency?
You could have a straight line between those two, couldn't you? That would be perpendicular.
Well, I'm asking if two plumb lines...
A and B.
At a significant distance apart, would both be perpendicular to the same horizontal line.
That's the idea, isn't it? Vertical and horizontal are perpendicular.
Well, I'm asking you, is this what you're
saying? On the real globe, right? Are horizontal and vertical perpendicular? In the real globe, in reality.
Well, in a rectangular coordinate system, yes. But when I go measure on the real world, the angle at the end of a horizontal line, I find that it is not level at the end. So
At the
How do
end.
you... Yeah, at the point of observation.
But you said level is perpendicular to plumb.
Level is perpendicular to plumb.
So you measure it to be not perpendicular to plumb at the end, do you?
Incorrect.
No.
I measure the end of the horizontal line. I'm not saying that level isn't perpendicular to plumb. I'm saying that there are areas on a horizontal line that is not perpendicular to plumb, and my measurements show that.
But horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. So are you trying to say that your measurements show that horizontal and vertical aren't perpendicular?
Correct. My measurements show that there are locations where a horizontal or where a portion of a horizontal line is not perpendicular to plumb. I just showed you. I dropped the videos, I gave you the screenshots, and I even drew you a pretty crayon color diagram. So I think I have... hey, Mr. Moderator, could we take a poll in the text chat and find out if most people think I've clearly articulated my evidence that that my supported my viewpoint on the debate? And if so, then I think we should give Bev some time to try to bring that back and come up with some evidence to counter my evidence. Does that sound like a good idea?
I'm trying to stay impartial. Bev, what is your opinion?
At the moment, I'm stunned to find out that Jesse can measure that horizontal and vertical aren't perpendicular over there.
Yes.
That's amazing. Because here, it is, isn't it? It's always perpendicular, horizontal and vertical.
Well, I've shown evidence that they're not. Would you like to show some evidence that they are?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm stunned. Horizontal and vertical being perpendicular. Sort of foundational, I would say. Within all sorts. So, I mean, that's globe. Jesse. Because I mean, I'm just talking about the real globe where horizontal and vertical are perpendicular.
Well, do you have some measurements, or is that just an opinion you got after eating some bad cheese, or how did that come about? Give us what you got. I've done a lot of talking. It's time you try to bring this back and give me some pushback here. I've brought some strong evidence, photographic, video evidence. So take it away, Bev. Try to bring us back here.
Did we see a video? I don't think we saw a video.
I pasted them earlier. I can get them to you again.
Okay.
And if you like, I can screen share one and just kind of skip around and like take maybe 3 minutes to just kind of give you the quick rundown. Would you like that?
Give you a quick rundown of your summarize. Yeah? Are you summarizing your position?
Well, just summarizing my measurement technique. Kind of a quick commentary on a sped up version of my
It's a vertical
video.
angle, isn't it? You measure a vertical angle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. To determine the slope of a horizontal.
Well, the angle of a horizontal at a certain location relative to vertical, relative to plumb specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, sloping horizontals measured on the vertical angle.
Well, yes, between 2 points, it's a slope. I measured a slope between 2 points of equal elevation.
Does anybody know what we call that? An angle measured between two horizontals? do believe it's called the equipotential angle of adjustment. Shout out, George.
Well, now, if we're going to turbo encabulate here. I will use the turbo encabulator if you don't come up with something, Bev.
Like I say, Jesse, I'm stunned. I don't know how to reply to the fact that horizontal and vertical, like I've said at the beginning, horizontal and vertical are definitely perpendicular. But a horizontal plane can be established in reality on the real globe. Well, people do it all the time. They use a tool called a level. And those levels come in different forms. But they don't come in angle measuring devices because that's a theodolite. It's a different tool. You use a level to establish a horizontal plane of reference. Now, if you want to check it to make sure it does actually establish a horizontal plane of reference, then you're going to have to come up with some sort of a reasoning process for you to be able to do that. We've already done that. So establishing that a straight line lies within a plane is a fundamental, even within geometry, solid geometry of reality.
So how would you, what evidence would you bring to the audience and to myself to show us that it's not just your opinion, but that you actually have evidence that that all parts of a horizontal line are level?
Well, I'd say to people out there, everybody listening, that it doesn't matter what anybody else says about these sort of things. This is, it's down to you whether you decide that you want to actually delve into this. But all you're doing it really is checking the fundamentals. You're understanding horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. What does that mean? It's a geometric saying. It's the fundamentals of mathematics. The way people understand things. Yeah, I mean, it has to happen on the globe, right? On the real globe, you have to find some way to meld these things, these fundamental understandings with modern day life. And there's some places that's a healthy discussion, and there's other places that's not a healthy discussion. I don't want to continue with like a backwards and forwards where in the end outcome is you, Jesse, stating that horizontal and vertical aren't perpendicular over there, because that sounds like madness. And I don't know whether that's been induced by somebody's idea of a model, I don't know. Don't think I need to support any evidence that horizontal and vertical are perpendicular.
Well, I've supported my claims with evidence. If you want to support your claims without evidence, Bev, that's a challenge, but more power to you. But I don't think the audience is going to find it very convincing.
Well, no, I'm saying that I don't think there's much I can say to anybody, particularly you, within this debate scenario, that would make you, I don't know, because the stated position is that horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. But you claim that over there, they're not. But
Well,
if you were to actually go over there, they would be perpendicular.
Well, no, actually, so if I were to go over here and measure the angle to this end, I would see it down here. Are these two crossing lines plumb or parallel to each other?
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you're saying from A to B, you've got completely opposite horizontals.
Well, that's the way they measure. Now that makes perfect sense on the real globe, not the double, triple, on quadruple quote globe, but the real globe that makes sense. But in
No,
your little
on the real globe, everybody would know that the horizontal goes from A to B. That's the understanding that everybody has, that horizontals don't slope. Yeah,
like this.
that's a horizontal, yeah?
Okay, so then why did I measure a downward slope?
Well, I don't know, but it's not horizontal, is it? If it's sloping, it's not horizontal. That's pretty simple. In the real world, on the real globe, that's what happens. That's what a horizontal is. Established between A and B.
That's not what we measure.
What do you mean? Not what you measure? What, between A and B?
I think we're going in loops, Bev. I've presented evidence, I've presented arguments, I've presented pretty diagrams that would put any 2-year-old to shame. Not a 3-year-old, but maybe a 2-year-old. And I'm coming up. I used to be able to beat a 1-year-old at the crayon art. Now I can beat a 2-year-old at the crayon art. So, I understand you're speechless. I've presented some pretty solid evidence, I guess. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I did not expect you to be speechless, but I'm flattered. Would you like to maybe take a week or two and mull things over, and then we can have a rematch, and maybe then you can bring some evidence for your claim that contradicts observable reality, or what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, we did come here to discuss about horizontals being parallel, and it seems like you've ended up falsifying horizontal and vertical being perpendicular. At least over there.
Well, the technical definition of the dictionary indicated that a horizontal is only level at one location. My real world measurements show that
Wherever you
horizontals
have
are only level at one
wherever
location.
you have a plumb bob, it was at the location that you have a plumb bob.
Well, there's good evidence that that plumb bobs are not all parallel as well. But that wasn't our specific topic. Would you like to debate me on whether plumb bobs are all parallel next time?
Don't know yet. You don't know what parallel and perpendicular are, obviously.
Well, I think I do. Perpendicular means at 90 degrees too.
Forms a grid system, like a square.
And parallel.
If you would take a unit of length, then and use the perpendicular system, you would form a grid system, like we have in the UK, of squares.
Well, they're almost squares. They're not actually squares.
Perpendiculars makes squares.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because if you actually look at the
vertical and horizontal being perpendicular, but you've said you falsified it, so
if you actually look
done,
into
Jesse.
the okay, let me know when you're done. I'll wait.
Oh, go on.
You sure? Okay, so if you actually look into, what do you call it, the UK National Grid System or something like that? So if you actually look into that, there's a mathematical correction that they have to do to map it to the real Earth, because the real Earth doesn't conform to a square grid system. The squares are different sizes on the real Earth depending on where in the grid system they are. Were you aware of that?
Squares are different sizes. Did you say?
Yeah. Were you aware of that?
The perpendicular grid system that we have in the UK.
They're also not perfectly perpendicular. Were you aware of that?
Well, I wasn't aware of horizontal and vertical being not perpendicular. So maybe we have a different understanding of what perpendicular is, Jesse, because it seems like you're confused about what is perpendicular and what isn't perpendicular. It's a relationship between straight lines.
I've tagged you with the Wikipedia article, which gives the math and gives you pointers to where you can find more authoritative sources if you
About
want.
perpendicular, Jesse.
Well, about the UK, what's it called? The Ordnance Survey National Grid. Boy, that sounds nice. I wish I could say it with your accent. Say that for me. The Ordnance Survey National Grid.
No.
Oh, be a good sport, Bev. Just once for me, please.
No, Jesse, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. You're talking about perpendiculars. Are you saying it's not perpendicular?
Yes, the squares in the grid are not perfect squares, and the intersections are not all perpendicular. Because they actually map to slightly curved physical areas on the surface of the Earth. But anyway, that's a little bit out of topic, so I think we've
But you
completed
realise
this debate.
that a perpendicular is right angles.
Yes.
Okay. Where the right angles are equal.
Well, I mean, that's a right angle is 90 degrees, right?
Yeah. And perpendicular is the relationship of straight lines where the right angles are equal.
Well, Mr. Moderator, shall we do closing statements? I don't see this going any farther, and it's 1:33 a.m. for me, so I'm glad to do a rematch if Bev thinks he can counter something.
Sure. Unless who wants to go first on the closing?
Oh, why don't we have like a little while of Q&A too? That's always fun from our audience participation.
Right, well,
After our
yeah.
closings.
All right, yeah. Take as much time, and if you want to just each do a closing statement, and then we can. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to change everyone's roles real quick though.
We could also just move to the other room.
Yeah, that would probably be the easiest thing to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So how about that? Let's take closing statements, and then we can move to the other room for Q&A or anything like that.
All right. Well, you went first, Bev.
So have you concluded your thing? Because I didn't really get much chance to make a case about... I mean, I don't think I need to, really, right?
Well,
obviously, if anybody does actually want to come and, challenge the horizontals being parallel or level being horizontal or the Realising Euclid Tests or anything, then we are going to be up for, explaining that to people. We're talking about the real globe. That's all we're talking about.
Yeah, if you think you can make a case that debunks my first-hand evidence that I reported with video and color photos, take all the time you want and make your best case. I will make myself something to drink here.
I don't think I or anybody could encounter such an esteemed person as you as to have falsified horizontal and vertical being perpendicular, at least over there.
Oh, you're too kind, Bev. Well, would you like to make your closing statement then, and then I'll make one, and then we'll open it up for audience Q&A?
Yeah, well, like I say, I think I didn't even get chance to state anything to the positive from my side, but I was...
so now's your chance. Go ahead.
No, Jesse, you've got to get to bed. It's late.
No. Tomorrow's Saturday. I plan to stay up as late tonight as we need to finish our debate. It just didn't look like it was moving. But if you would like to make a statement or a point or an argument, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Wow. Took all of that time for you to open up to get to this point. Okay. Well, let me get back to it then. I've made a few arguments. It's been stated quite often I'll put it up in the debate chat just so we can go over it. I made it a bit ago. In my discovery of finding arguments for us to go over in practice, learning logic, somebody brought up a modus tollens, but he messed it up really badly. But since that modus tollens is about falsifying things, it's like calling out bullshit. Somebody makes a claim, and modus tollens is there for you to falsify that claim. Well, I wanted to make a modus ponens argument as simple as possible. So I did. So here we go. This is the basis of what I call the argument, and seems to be what people like Jesse want to try and falsify, I guess. I mean, which is what the idea of a modus ponens is. It's up there. This is a positive. So, if it has been proven that a straight line's parallel to the same straight line and not in the same plane with it, are parallel to one another, proposition 9, book 11, the elements, that's solid geometry, then it can also be proved to be true of horizontal planes also. That's my statement. If geometrically it can be proved, then horizontal planes established within reality are there for this geometric thing to apply to. And since if all horizontal planes are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then all horizontal planes will be parallel to one another. Q. Missed out, there's propositions within Euclid that can, obviously been proven. And we can say by definition, all horizontal planes are parallel to the plane of the horizon. So somebody's already defined these horizontal planes and horizontals as being that which is parallel to the plane of the horizon. I've tried. I've not been able to falsify that definition. So through geometric reasoning, you can reason that all horizontal planes must be parallel. So all it comes down to then is, can you establish a horizontal plane? And would that be provably parallel to the plane of the horizon?
So, can I respond, or are you still going? Did you make your argument?
Go on, that's the argument for horizontal planes being parallel. Yes.
So I think your modus fairy talens has a false assumption in it. You assume incorrectly that all parts of a horizontal are parallel to the horizon. But that's just your opinion. You have no evidence of that. And that is your false assumption. And without that, your whole logic just crumbles. You've got zero evidence. You take an opinion and then you build this entire house of cards on that one opinion, and you've got no substantiation for the opinion. Do you see the problem there?
Well, I would say the horizontal is all parts being horizontal.
So, do you have any evidence that horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon? However you put that weird thing?
Well, by definition, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. But you can check this yourself, as can anybody around here.
What?
You can establish a horizontal wherever you are and just check that it is parallel with the plane of the horizon. And you can turn around and do that all the way.
Well, but I still
call it science.
Do you have any evidence of this definition that you mentioned? Did you just define that for our debate so that you could sound cool, or did you read it somewhere, or did you have a bad dream, or how did you come up with this idea that the horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. Could you have evidence of that? Can you cite your definition from a dictionary, or did you just make it up?
Yeah, there's plenty of dictionary definitions of horizontal that state parallel to the plane of the horizon.
Okay, can you cite one? Just like drop it in the chat, or take your time.
Okay, but let's say there is a definition of horizontals being parallel to the plane of the horizon. Would you disagree with that?
Well, I
Or
need to see it.
you just
I
need
really
to
need
see
to
a
see it.
definition?
Yeah, I need to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time.
Like mathematics places or...
Yeah, just find the definition and post it in the chat, and I'll have a read. Because I need to bring up this new book I that's on Amazon. Did someone send you a new book yet?
What? Are you touting Nathan Oakley again?
No. Oh, no. This is an author that is not anything like Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, there's one.
He's a little bit of a twerp, but he's a bit nicer than Nathan. I hope he's nicer than Nathan. I really do. Look at that. Who wrote that? Did you make that up, or is this the Oxford International Dictionary or the Children's Rhymery Dictionary? Well, where did this come from, Bev? I just see words. I don't see any citation. There's no custody chain of custody here.
You asked for a thingy, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I kind of need to know who said it. You know what I mean? It's like you're making a claim that there's a published definition, but I can't tell from the screenshot if this is from Merriam-Webster or, the Grey Goose Nursery Rhymes book, or, what is this? Because your whole argument rests on this claim that horizontal is parallel to the plane of the horizon. Oh, it's from Merriam-Webster.
Oh yeah, man. I don't know whether that'll be.
Well, there we go. Let's see. Where's this from?
I don't know that.
That's the beauty about
Might
AI.
be Merriam-Webster.
Okay. Shall we say, for the sake of discussion, that it's Merriam-Webster?
You can if you want.
Okay.
It's a definition that you asked for.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Bev. I am now going to cite a book that just got published on Amazon that directly contradicts your citation by Merriam-Webster. Now, the guy that wrote this book, he wasn't a lot for writing long book. It's not a long book. You can read it in a day, maybe, if you work hard. But this guy actually has some experience with surveying equipment that Merriam and Webster didn't. So I'm gonna drop a book here on Amazon that directly debunks your citation there. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, check out this book. It's titled The Art of Theodolite, a comprehensive guide to global geometry. And it was published just today. And let me see if the sample thing works. Oh, it doesn't. I'll get you a PDF of it. I got a PDF from the author.
There's a Merriam-Webster one there as well.
Well, neither Merriam nor Webster were surveyors, right? They didn't know about specifically the technical aspects of surveying or geodesy or stuff like that. Is that right? Or were they surveyors? Maybe they were.
Okay.
Maybe
Wow.
Daniel Boone might have been. I don't know.
Well, that's impressive, Jesse, because in one day, on the day that this book comes out that you're citing, you've falsified horizontal and vertical being perpendicular, at least over there.
Here, I just tagged you with the full-length book, both pages. And if you look on page 2, or on the first page, you will see that it literally says, not all horizontal planes on Earth are parallel to each other. So, and it's got a cute little diagram. It's got a stretched out Australia. It says Australia isn't this long. And it says, this genuine crayon document clearly addresses everything that you, the dear reader, needs to know about the geometry of the globe. This new and exciting research has escaped the sharp eye of a number of people who seem to be a little bit behind the curve. So, why should I trust why should I trust your citations from people who have never even touched a theodolite when I've got a contradicting citation that by somebody who has touched many theodolites and used them? Do you see the problem here? Why is your source more authoritative than my source, right?
Just said it's by definition. I mean, if you want to falsify it, I mean, you're saying that the definitions are wrong.
Well, that one is wrong. The
What?
technical definition that you gave me that one time.
Parallel
one
with
time
the
only.
plane of the horizon for horizontal.
Yeah, that is not technically accurate. And
But that's
my
what it
measurements-
says in Merriam-Webster.
Well,
It's
I'm
the
telling
part
you,
B that everybody seems to miss out, isn't it? You know, when you have a
Merriam-
definition of something in a dictionary, like, and there's two parts, a part A and a part B, well, they can't contradict each other, can they?
Well,
Those part A and part B within a definition, because that would be a violation of the law of identity, and dictionaries wouldn't do that type of thing. Well, you know, the bit that you've missed out, it happens to be parallel with the plane of the horizon, horizontal. That's the part B
well,
of the cherry-picked definition that people have been quoting for years.
Well, the Merriam-Webster definition that you brought there contradicts both the technical dictionary.
I didn't bring it. Bendy Space brought that one. Or at least Bendy. I think somebody else brought it as well.
No, the
Fe Dogma brought it as well.
The ones you were
parallel
posting.
with the plane of the horizon. It's like everybody's getting into it. You asked me to show you where it said that in the dictionary. And everybody's posting it. There's loads of them. It's stated within the dictionary.
Well, so you've banked your entire argument on.
I'm not banking an argument. I'm just saying
Well,
that horizontals are defined within the dictionary as being parallel with the plane of the horizon.
by a certain specific cherry-picked dictionary.
By
the
quite a
people
few,
who-
actually.
Well, the people who wrote those were not surveyors. They had never used a theodolite. And I have a book by a guy who has used a theodolite, and he contradicts your source. So why should we trust your source by somebody who's never touched a theodolite over a source by somebody who has touched numerous theodolites and used them?
Well, you can prove it for yourself. I think that's what I was saying. Like, there is a way for you to be able to prove these things for yourself.
I did. I went out
On
to
the real
lake.
globe, right? You can go out
I did.
and walk around on the real globe and find that
did.
a horizontal plane of reference can be established.
Yeah, I did. I went out to the lake on the real globe. I set up equal height points in a row, and I measured the deviation between plumb and the ends of a horizontal line. I did demonstrate it for myself. Do you have a demonstration for yourself to the contrary, Bev?
You didn't measure the elevation change of a water level, did you?
Well, I sure was using a lake, and I sure think it was level. If you've got evidence that the lake was not level, then
You didn't measure an elevation change of it, though, did you?
well, not by definition, because elevation is the equal height line, so that could be
It's a
curved.
measurement change on the vertical datum, right? That's what measured elevation change would be shown upon the vertical datum. On the real globe.
Well, can you understand my position, Bev? I've got a source by a guy who's used theodolites, auto levels, and total stations, who says that not all horizontal planes on Earth are parallel to each other. You're citing
But you've already
Merriam
stated that you can measure an angle between a horizontal and a horizontal.
You're citing some dictionary writers who never touched a theodolite. I've presented evidence that not all points of a horizontal are level, and that not all horizontals are parallel. You've presented zero evidence. So I think that's about as far as we can make it tonight. So I do want to say thank you so much for the debate. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we can have another one on a new topic sometime. And would you like to go ahead and make your closing statement, or finish your argument if you were still in the middle of it?
Well, I did state an argument earlier. The evidence of that, like I said, it's up for people to do for themselves. We do have a test we did a couple of years ago. It's just a geometric test within reality, to link these ideas of this modus ponens statements that you can make through logic into reality. Well, you can also apply geometric reasoning to reality. That's how we understand vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. Look into it for yourself, but
Yeah,
just
I
remember,
measured it.
'tis globe.
I measured it for myself.
Yep,
All
always
right.
going to be a globe.
Was that your closing statement?
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, I guess in my closing statement, I think I clearly demonstrated the theory, the observation, the fact, and even a very freshly published book that backs up my claim by someone who actually has used all of these instruments. And thank you so much, everyone, for participating. And I'm going to hand it back to the moderator. You still awake, Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Everyone has now been given speaking permissions. So if you leave and enter the chat, if we want to have a Q&A, we can do that now.
Right,
Alrighty.
just let me just give a couple of minutes break. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay, sounds good. So everyone should be able to speak now. You're just going to need to leave and re-enter the chat. Sorry about that.
Well, that's not much better than just moving to the other channel.
I guess that makes, yeah, that's true.
It don't matter. So, who wants to stump me here? Glober on the stump.
I think Into the Break does.
Hey, brother, how's it going?
I'm seeing if everyone is coming off mute. Hold on, Jesse. Boomer admin is having boomer problems. A lot of people are still showing up as muted. We may just have to move to the other chat. I'm sorry.
I think you can highlight everybody, pull them down, and drop them into the other chat.
Can I do that? Hold on, let me see on my side. I see just a lot of red microphones still.
Jesse, can I sum up your position here? If I correct me if I'm wrong here, but horizontal meaning parallel to the plane of the horizon is just an opinion. Squares don't have perpendicular sides, and vertical is not perpendicular to horizontal. Would you say that's a fair summation of your entire spiel?
Give them to me one at a time. I'll respond to them each one at a time because some of them may have been better than others.
Okay, horizontal meaning parallel to the plane of the horizon is just an opinion.
Yes, it does not mirror reality, and that's not what the surveying books say, and that's not what the technical dictionary says, and that's not what my measurement says, and that's not even what my self-published book says. That is
Okay,
just an opinion.
all right, and squares don't have perpendicular sides?
That's not what I said. That's incorrect. The so-called squares of the UK National Survey Grid system, which is where Bev lives, which is why I was bringing that up to him. Those squares are morphed onto a spherical Earth, and they are not all the same size, and they are not exactly square. And even though they're called grid squares, they're not actually grid squares. And in order to compensate for that, they have to apply corrective math. It's all in the Wikipedia, and any article that explains the math behind the UK National Survey Grid system explains all that. What was the
Okay,
third one?
so let me just get it clear. The squares that they say are squares are not that, correct?
Right, their grid squares aren't actually square on the Earth.
Okay, and vertical is not perpendicular to horizontal, correct?
Almost correct. There's one point on each vertical line of infinite length that is perpendicular to plumb. There's one point on each horizontal line that is perpendicular to plumb, and that's the tangent point. At any point other than the tangent point, the horizontal line is not perpendicular to plumb.
Okay. If you go somewhere else, could you have another vertical being perpendicular to a horizontal?
Yes. Did you
Okay.
see my 2-page book I published?
Yeah. Could you do that everywhere?
Let me get you a diagram.
Well, just a yes or no will be good.
Yeah, could you
Well, I'm not
get
sure.
could you get two horizontal points on your things like an A and B, and then could you join those up? Because you're joining two horizontal points together. That
So,
line
Jerry,
has to be horizontal, doesn't it?
So, Jerry, if you unblock, you can look at the diagram I just posted, and it shows how there's 3 horizontal lines that, at their point of tangency, are perpendicular to plumb, but the 3 horizontal lines are not parallel to each other.
Right. So they're all horizontal and not horizontal all at the same time, correct?
They are they're all horizontal lines, but their point of tangency, that is to say their point of being level or perpendicular to plumb, is in different locations on Earth's surface.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Certainly. What was that, Bev?
You nearly drew a equipotential triangle.
Well, I had to have a hole in the top to let the smoke out.
No, if you make join those up, you would actually have a triangle made entirely of horizontals, which we call the equipotential triangle.
When you said,
Can you guys hear me?
When you said we call it the equipotential triangle,
Yeah.
do you mean you call it? Because I have never come across that in my professional career.
We are on the level.
Oh, it's okay. So a very small subset of the surveying professional community, which is, you're not even a member of the professional surveying community.
George
I just want to make sure. No, I just wanted clarification. I just wanted clarification when you said we call it the equipotential triangle or the equipotential angle of adjustment. I was trying to define what is that group of we, and it's, as you just pointed out, is the cluster of people that focus around on the level.
George taught us the equipotential surface at each of those points. Those 3 points having the equipotential surface, making the equipotential triangle.
That sounds a lot like a spherical triangle to me, but
it's what George.
What you said was kind of
it's what George said.
Circular.
The
I have a
equipotential
question for Elder
surface.
Bear. I was going to ask it to Bev, but he's got me blocked and muted, so he probably can't hear me. Is Elder Bear there?
Hey, space poop in the house.
Anyway, I'm going to ask the
Your
question either way.
should be to the debaters.
I don't know if Bev can hear me because he's got me blocked and muted. So I'm just going
We
to
can hear
ask
you.
the
You
room
address
and they can ask.
They're the debaters,
Okay.
not me.
Yeah, let me.
All right. So this question is for Bev, if you can hear me.
Hold on, Space.
Let's say I'm in a.
Space, hold on. Hey Bev, can you unmute Space Pope? He's got a question for you.
Yeah.
How many pages in your authoritative document, Jesse, again?
This is actually going out live, right?
It looks like it.
Yeah. So.
All right. So
the live
here's my
audience will
question.
be able to tell you.
Yeah, he's still got me muted, so that's why he's talking over me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me know when I can speak.
Ask your question if it's short, and I'll ask him.
Okay. So let's say I'm in the United States and I establish a horizontal line. And let's say someone else is in the UK and they establish a horizontal line. How do we know that those two different lines are parallel with each other?
Well, the argument, the modus ponens states that all horizontals are parallel. If would your horizontal be parallel with the plane of the horizon?
It would be. But my question is, are those two separate horizontals parallel with each other?
Well,
that's what my question is.
Horizontal planes would be parallel, wouldn't they?
How do you know that if you haven't compared these two different data points?
I've compared all horizontals to the plane of the horizon and found that they do comport to the
wait a
plane
minute.
of the horizon always.
Wait a minute, Bev.
No, you haven't.
You're honestly making flat Earth arguments, Bev. I thought you weren't a flat Earther.
Definitely not flat. This is from the real globe. This.
But what you're saying,
stuff in reality, you can go out and actually do this in reality.
But Bev, do you realize what you're saying? What are the implications of what you're saying?
Of horizontal and vertical being perpendicular.
Of two different locations on Earth, of their horizontals being parallel.
Would the horizontal over there, wherever you are, would that be perpendicular to vertical?
Depends on what argument are you trying to make, Bev?
Well, I don't know. We've just listened to Jesse make an argument that over there, horizontal and vertical aren't perpendicular.
But the implications of what you're saying...
Well, here they are.
He didn't say that, Bev.
What you're saying is that two different places on Earth, those horizontals would be parallel to each other.
Yeah, the horizontals where you are would be parallel, wouldn't they?
How would you know that if you haven't made any kind of measurement or comparison? How could you possibly know that?
What, the horizontals are parallel?
Right? Not a debate.
Yeah, how would you know that all horizontals are parallel if you haven't compared them with each other and you haven't measured anything?
Well,
how could you possibly know that?
Through the geometric reasoning of knowing that if two or more lines are parallel to the same plane, then that would make the plane of the horizon also horizontal. Would it not?
So that would mean that the Earth would be what, Bev?
The real globe.
How do you know there's only one plane of the horizon, Bev?
That's definitely not a globe argument.
Right.
Yeah, the real globe.
Any questions for Jesse from the other side to keep things even?
I have a question to both Jesse and Bev, if I may.
I found this on the web.
Oh, put it where you found it.
Can I ask my question?
Certainly.
Yeah, sorry, Siri just intervened there.
Great debate, by the way. Very well conducted. The moderator probably fell asleep. He didn't have much work to do. I have a question to both of you. I really like the opening of the debate when Jesse presented this photograph of some kind of object, I believe, in the United Kingdom. Jesse, could you post it in the chat, please, so we can get a refresher? Thank you. But so the question is to both, but I will address Bev first. I'm a neo-Bevite now. Bev, did you take that photograph? Did you participate in that observation?
I can't quite remember whether it was DP or me that took that photo. Don't know whether I don't know whether his camera phone was working at the time.
Mm-hmm. Were you there? Were you there at the moment?
I was, yes.
When this photo was taken? Okay, okay. Do you believe that this observation is accurate?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think the margin of error is in that observation?
Pretty high, I would say.
Okay.
Knowing what I know about it, my level of whatever would be, massive.
Okay. Jesse, could you please post the photo? I don't see it in the chat. Bev, are you a certified surveyor?
No.
Do you own a certificate in surveying?
I do, yes. A very basic one.
Okay, but so you're familiar with the basics of surveying?
Yes.
In that photograph, can you please point out to the audience, it's here at 08 past the hour. Where's the horizontal line?
The crosshair?
Through the eyepiece of the tool. Yeah.
The crosshair. It's there in the
Which
middle of the picture.
Which line represents the eye level? Is it the long line in the middle?
That doesn't represent the eye level. I mean, somebody's put a thing on it, right? The point that says eye level, but don't be fooled by that. That's just a crosshair. It doesn't represent the eye level.
That's right.
At all.
But this crosshair, okay, this crosshair, as per your knowledge, is supposed to represent the eye level, assuming the tool is leveled.
Yeah, that's what the tool's used for. It's an auto level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was the tool leveled at the time of the measurement?
No.
Why was this photograph taken then?
Because it was at the time where there was a guy around called Ranty, and he'd had an auto level bought. He'd had an auto level bought for him by Ruhif. And Ruhif had left it in a shop up by Cats. So Ranty and Cats were meant to be going up a mountain, right, to do some sort of a project or something with taking this auto level up a mountain. And what we were doing was we had a day where we said that we could picture Blackpool Tower at 3 different elevations, just to give Ranty an idea that it can be done.
Nice. And?
Yeah. And that's what we did. That's just one of the pictures.
Okay. Did you level the tool?
No.
So you just randomly pointed the tool at the tower?
DP came down because he wanted to get some practical experience.
What does DP stand for? In internet lore, what does DP stand for?
I don't know. Domesticated primate is the person we're talking about. He came down, so he could gain. He came down.
Level with Elderberg?
He came down, so he could get experience on setting these tools up to see what it's like when you look through it. He performed a 2-peg test at Southport Beach.
2-peg test.
Yes.
Okay, who was the first peg?
Control yourself, Peter. You'll get to hear what's going on.
And he found out the problems of doing this sort of thing on beaches. He learned how to set the tool up. Then we decided to do it at 2.
Did you help him?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But he actually did that. He did. So we performed the 2-peg test at Southport Beach. Wait a minute. Let me
This is a
tell.
PG.
Let me go over it.
Calm
Don't
down,
worry
Peter.
about it, Peter.
Calm down.
If you have the respect to give me time to answer.
You're taking a long time, mate.
And well, because it's a pretty vital story, right? Because a lot of people have misrepresented everything.
It's almost as if you're trying to distract us from the key questions that I'm asking you.
Well, you're asking me why we were up there. I'm going to get there, right?
No,
so
I couldn't care less why
DP
you
was
were
practicing how to do this, right? Then we went to where I live because we can sight Blackpool Tower from
Where's
just
that?
down the road. And we
Where's
did that. We sighted it and we took another picture because it's at a different elevation, sighting Blackpool Tower. And then we decided to go up to Parbold Hill and do the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, like I told DP, said, you don't do this. What we're doing here is a ridiculous idea. Surveyors don't do this for 3 reasons, right? There's no purpose in doing it because you're not measuring anything. There's no measuring rod in sight. So what's the purpose of doing it? And then the third one is, why ponder to a group of people? So we purposely said, don't set it up. All you're after doing is getting Blackpool Tower in the picture. That's it. Just so we can show Ranty that you can actually do that.
Why didn't you just use a regular camera?
Because the idea was to show Ranty that you
You're
can
not following
actually
the story, Peter.
Okay, Bev. Okay,
can actually take a picture through an auto level. It completely invalidates the tool or the picture for any type of surveying purposes. Everybody knows this. I've been telling people for ages.
Thank you, Bev. You can stop now. You can stop now. So you said your friend DP, whose acronym will remain initials will remain a mystery.
Domesticated primate.
Or 3D printing.
I thought so. That was my guess. That was my guess. So you said his purpose that day was to practice. He wanted to practice the use of his auto level. Based on your certified basic knowledge of surveying, would one of the first steps of setting up an auto level would it be to auto level it? Would one of the first steps involve
that's got nothing to do with the picture, Peter? Didn't you hear?
Level? Shut the fuck up, LD Bear. Bev.
No, you seem to be the one to be the top man. You didn't listen to the story, obviously. They don't bear into each other.
Bev, would one of the steps be to level the...
You didn't set it up.
Maud, could you please mute the interrupting party here? I'm trying to talk to Bev and he's distracting me from my line of inquiry. So would one of the
I'm
first
glad
steps
he actually heard it, because I'll tell you again, it wasn't set up.
But you said that Mr. DP was trying to practice his...
He'd already done that. He'd already done that.
So
At the other 2 times, he'd actually performed a 2-peg test. He understood what he came for.
Okay, so he never leveled this device.
No.
He just put it on the ground and he took a photograph through the eyepiece.
Yep.
What's the purpose of that?
To show Ranty that you can actually take a picture through an auto level of Blackpool Tower from 3 different elevations. Go on, Ranty. Get up Winter Hill. Go on, you can do it. That's what we were doing.
But that can be done without the auto level.
Go up Winter Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
You could just carry a sack of potatoes.
Ranty was going to use an auto level. It was a comparison. Ranty wasn't using a camera.
So what's the purpose
He'd had one bought for him by Ruhif. All he had to do was go and pick it up and go up Winter Hill.
I think the question was, why did you guys use an auto level though? Why not just take a picture with a camera?
Because we were showing Ranty that you can actually take a picture of Blackpool Tower at different elevations.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, anyone can take a picture with their cell phone or their camera. why is this photograph done through the eyepiece of an O level?
Because we were
You're
showing
not getting it,
Ranty that
Peter.
you can do it.
Yep.
That you can do what?
Take a picture of Blackpool Tower through the eyepiece of an auto level.
Okay, I understand.
And at no point did you guys try and level this auto level, because I think you guys are pretty adamant about knowing how to use an auto level, correct?
Okay. Bev, in your discussion with Mr. Jesse, which was really high quality, I thought, you failed to demonstrate any empirical evidence, any kind of measurement on your behalf that would demonstrate that 2 points of equal elevation can be on the same horizontal plane. Do you have any such evidence, and were you just prohibited from presenting it during the debate for reasons outside of your control?
A water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference. That's from 2 points.
Do you have any documented measurements?
From A to B, the horizontal plane is established.
Okay, I understand. Do you have any documented measurements demonstrating this in reality?
That a water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
A particular measurement in a particular place on Earth that would show the result of such a measurement, yes.
Yes, we've got a test called the Realising Euclid Test.
Would you present it?
We'll be able to, yeah, but not at the minute. It's obviously, that's not what we've come here for. The Realising Euclid Test is a...
I understand. Okay.
It's a thing about the real globe, right?
I get it. Thank you.
I don't think it's for these parts.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Well done. Thank you. I have one last question to Mr. Jesse to make this, to balance it up. Yeah, exactly. I have a question for Mr. Jesse.
2 voices.
Mr. Jesse.
Yes.
Mr. Jesse, did you use this evidence here from Mr. Bev and his friend DP in good faith, assuming, actually trusting that Bev's standing in the surveying community, demonstrated by by him possessing a certificate in surveying, did that make you believe that this evidence could be trusted, and that the measurement captured in this photograph was accurate?
It didn't have so much to do with the certificate, but I definitely used it in good faith. At the time it first came out, it was I believed it was set up correctly. I believe they were claiming that it was set up correctly at the time. And
nobody's ever claimed that.
Can you please let Mr. Jesse respond?
And even I asked specifically, I says, was it still in calibration at the time? And they said yes. So it still had a valid calibration sticker at the time. And I believed at the time that I first saw the picture that it was correctly set up. And when I checked it against the globe prediction, it matched so closely that I knew it was implausible that they accidentally, just randomly set it up and accidentally matched globe drop. And I also know that they don't know enough math to intentionally fake globe drop on a flat Earth. So I have high confidence that it actually had been leveled enough within its working range, which could have happened by accident, because all you got to do is get them within plus or minus like 3 arc minutes, and then they take care of the rest. So yes, I believe it was an accurate measurement, and I certainly used it in good faith.
Thank you, Mr.
All you
That's
made was
another question
assumptions.
for Bev.
I have one closing statement.
You just heard that that picture had nothing to do with a horizontal reference.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
It was
Mr.
just a random picture.
I appreciate it.
You just heard, it was clarified.
I appreciate
So Jesse's
it.
assumptions are a waste of time.
Thank you. Closing statement to the jury. I believe, from my former interactions with Mr. Bev, I know the following things to be true. 1, Mr. Bev is very, very adamant about all the tools being used being calibrated. He continuously points out any mistakes in calibration. 2, he is very passionate about the surveying trade. He points out any mistakes in the use of surveying tools with passion. And number 3, he is always very adamant to point out that he is certified in surveying. Even my teenage son knows this, even though he interacted with Mr. Bev only once for a few minutes. But he knows that Mr. Bev is a certified surveyor. And I posited to the jury that Mr. Bev could not have at all, even for 1 minute, would not have allowed for anyone not to auto level a surveying tool. Thank you.
I agree.
I've got another question for Bev.
And we enter into evidence the picture that was given.
I'm talking, Elder Bear.
Not to have
I'm
anything to do with
talking.
the horizontal
Don't be
reference.
rude. You're talking over me. You're talking over me.
Actually,
all right. So I got another question for Bev. Is a horizontal level line parallel with the surface of the Earth?
No, the surface of the Earth goes in all sorts of different directions. Have you ever seen a mountain?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Earth having mountains and valleys.
it's not
However,
parallel.
you have stated implicitly that the horizon, all horizontals are parallel with the plane of the horizon. Isn't the horizon the surface of the Earth?
No, it's where the sky meets the land, isn't it? Or water.
No, but is that horizon the surface of the Earth?
If it's topographical, then I would say so.
So that would mean then that the surface of the Earth is horizontal, according to you at least.
No, the plane. The plane of the horizon.
The plane of the horizon.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It's the plane of the encompassing horizon.
Okay, but isn't the horizon the surface of the Earth?
No.
Well, part of it is the sky, and part of it is also the surface of the Earth.
The plane of the horizon isn't the surface of the Earth. It's the plane of the horizon.
Okay, I don't understand what that means, but my understanding from what you're saying is that all horizontals are parallel with the plane of the horizon, which would mean that the surface of the Earth is horizontal.
Well, it's not horizontal. Like you know that, right? You've definitely seen
well, I know that you don't know that, but
not flat.
I know that. You don't know that.
I think that because I think he's asking that because that's literally the arguments that you're making.
What? No.
That you're saying that all horizontals are.
You're literally saying that. You're literally saying that the surface of the Earth is horizontal. Is what you're literally saying by making that statement.
No, I'm not. I'm. That's one thing I'm definitely not saying. I've been saying it for.
Okay, so what exactly is the plane of the horizon then?
It's
what does that mean?
The encompassing plane. If you go all the way round, right, and turn all the way round, there would be no slope to this. If you go on a horizontal all the way round, you will meet the same point, guaranteed.
Okay, so this horizontal is an imaginary line that you're establishing, right?
They call it the azimuthal plane.
Okay, but you're in fact using that imaginary line and comparing it with the surface of the Earth. Isn't that what you're doing?
No.
So what exactly are you doing then?
I'm saying that all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. They lie in a plane parallel to the plane of the horizon.
What is the plane of the horizon? What is that?
I've said, like, as you turn around, that's the horizon that you see.
And haven't we established that the horizon is the sky? It's the dividing line between the sky and the ground.
Yeah.
Is what the horizon is,
for
right?
all of us, yeah.
Okay, so if that horizon is in fact horizontal, wouldn't it mean that the surface of the Earth is also horizontal?
No, not to me it wouldn't. Would it to you?
It's what logically follows.
Not in my logic. I know for a fact that elevation changes can be measured. So it's not horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Horizontal is just an orientation, though, right? I think we all understand that.
Mm-hmm. And you believe that the Earth is orientated horizontally, don't you?
I don't say anything about the Earth. Measured to be not horizontal, so orientated. I don't know. Horizontal is just an orientation. I mean, it's an orientation for me as though it's an orientation for you. I don't think that the Earth's orientated like that.
What would be the point of you saying that all horizontals are parallel with the plane of the horizon? What would be the point of you saying that in an Earth-shaped discussion?
Well, I was practicing logic and coming up with the most simple modus ponens that I possibly could, in a way to link geometry to reality, part of the Realising Euclid thing, and how we reason reality around us.
Okay, but I'm sure that you're aware that we regularly discuss the shape of the Earth in this community. So I'm just wondering why you choose to bring up that statement in this community if you're not talking about the shape of the Earth.
Right. Why enter into a debate about the shape of the Earth if you both agree on the shape of the Earth?
Well, because this was about horizontals being parallel. The debate.
Yeah, but you're talking about them being on the surface of the Earth, correct, or not?
No, horizontal planes are just horizontal planes. They're not connected to the Earth at all. They can just be established in reality.
Right, so you're just talking about just a theoretical horizontal plane. It has nothing to do with the Earth.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Horizontal planes being parallel.
I think you guys were having two different debates then.
I know Jesse kept talking about a lake. I tried to get him away from it, but it was, or did seem like he was a little bit obsessed about a lake.
Could we restate the opening description of the topic? Because as I recall, it was horizontal planes established at different locations being parallel. So at point A, a horizontal plane, and at point B, a horizontal plane. And whether or not they are in fact parallel with each other, which would also require that the verticals at A and vertical at B would be parallel to each other.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing. I was just saying that from point A to point B would be the horizontal plane.
Yeah, so and that is in contention. That is by definition in contention.
Okay, and also, where are those 2 points? Are they on the surface of the Earth?
Normally at an even altitude is the way they're stated. Water level. If you were using a water level, you'd have 2 points at A and B. They would definitely be, at an altitude above the ground.
Okay, so on the surface of the Earth. Are we talking about the Earth, or are we not talking about the Earth?
Off the surface.
I think you have everybody confused. I think that's the problem here.
Yeah.
That is not sure whether or not surveying has anything to do with the surface of the Earth.
Well, you can measure the elevation changes of the land, can't you, by measuring the difference on the vertical datum from these two established points?
I'm not confused, so not everybody.
We are talking about what happens on the real globe, right? That's what we're not getting at cross purposes here, are we?
I think we might be getting cross purposes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, with celestial navigation, we use the angle between the ground position of the star vertical with the observer's vertical, and they have, of course, a perpendicular horizontal on the real globe. But if they are perpendicular to the same horizontal, there wouldn't be an angle between them. So how can we measure an angle between those two verticals?
You measure an angle between verticals.
Well, the angle between the verticals is the important thing in celestial navigation.
A vertical equipotential angle. That's impressive. Take us through the process of measuring this angle between verticals.
The position is calculated by the angle between the vertical of the celestial body and the vertical of your ground position. That's the distance of the equidistant circle. So the distance to the ground position of the star is the angle between the vertical of the star's position and the vertical of the observer position. But if they're both on the same perpendicular to the same horizontal plane, that angle will always be 0.
0 is not an angle.
No, exactly. So that's not possible. So they cannot be parallel.
So where's the angle measured?
It's the angle opposite of what you calculate to be perpendicular from that vertical. You don't measure the angle of horizontal. You don't measure the angle of vertical, actually, with celestial navigation. You just measure an angle. The rest is calculated, but you're using the vertical of the observer with the vertical of the celestial body, and the angle between them is the distance from you to the ground position of the celestial body.
So you measure an angle, and through calculations you can get a distance.
Yes, that's how celestial navigation works.
Well,
you can do it with actually a plumb line and a protector, and then you're measuring actually the angle between vertical and the angle between the vertical from the celestial body. That's also possible. Then you're measuring it directly. It's like how they actually came up with the grid system.
So again, that's measuring an angle in the vertical plane, but just you're going different than Jesse.
Yeah, you're measuring angles from the vertical. That's correct.
But you're getting verticals. Is an angle.
The vertical, yeah, but you said that the horizontal is perpendicular to the vertical.
Yeah. But Jesse was getting an angle between horizontals in the vertical plane, but now you're getting an angle between verticals in the vertical plane.
Yes, because I'm using a different apparatus. I don't use a theodolite.
You don't use a theodolite?
No. At sea, we don't use theodolites.
Sextant.
It must be a shock to you, but at sea, we don't use theodolites.
So you use a sextant?
Yes, I use a sextant.
Still? You know, I've better systems nowadays, I would have thought. Okay, so yeah, you measure an angle.
Yeah, we measured it. We actually use the angle between two verticals.
Yep. You know, some people would say, apart from saving lives, that's how you measure the Earth flat. Are you one of those people? Because it's not, right?
If the Earth was flat, there won't be an angle between those verticals, would there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, some people can't see that. You know, maybe their globes don't work the same as yours. I can't understand the reasoning how you can get an angle between verticals. I'm still particularly struggling with that one.
Yeah, because you're not believing that it's a globe. That's the problem.
Yeah, because at your position where you're measuring it, horizontal and vertical are perpendicular, aren't they?
Yeah, that's correct.
But over there, are they still
specific
perpendicular over there?
For that vertical, over there, he has his own perpendicular horizontal. Okay. Yes.
So
but it's not the same horizontal as your.
But it is. It's the horizontal that you've established whenever you're in the position you're at, the one that is perpendicular to vertical.
Yeah, but it's only perpendicular to that specific point.
Yeah, I know. Like Jesse, I think I got that from Jesse. It's only actually perpendicular on the vertical. So would that be like all of the horizontal points only actually are horizontal on the vertical? So the only place horizontal perpendicular actually exists is on the vertical. But the vertical can be everywhere.
Yeah, and
so that means horizontal is also everywhere, perpendicular to vertical.
Their own vertical, yes.
Yeah. So horizontal and vertical are always perpendicular everywhere, except for when you imagine it over there.
Vertical.
Yeah.
Only to their own specific vertical.
And no two verticals are parallel, Bev. Very provably so. So no two horizontals can possibly be parallel.
Sorry, you said provably.
Yes, sir. Measurably.
Okay, so it's a straight line.
I didn't say anything about a straight line. I said no two verticals are parallel.
Yeah, is a vertical a straight line?
I'm not talking about whether it's a straight line or not. What do you think it is?
Well, I'm just wondering how you're
Are you
going to
contending that it's not a straight line?
Yeah, well, you said it's provable.
Yeah, it's measurable. We can measure the fact that the verticals are not parallel, Bill.
Straight line. That's what I'm saying. You know, that was why I said straight line.
It's two lines, Bill.
Measurable. What, vertical?
Not a straight line, two straight lines, which are not parallel.
Vertical?
Two verticals, not parallel. No two are parallel.
Okay, and there's a proof for that?
You can measure that.
Okay. I'd just say tis globe and be done with it, but go on.
Come on, Bev.
Entertain us, Blue.
Well, in the tis globe, vertical is radial to the globe. So radial lines, are radial lines parallel to each other? I think not.
Yeah, like I say, I'd just say tis globe and be done with it. I don't particularly think this is healthy.
Let's poison the well.
No, I'm not poisoning any well. We all know that horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. Now, there's an understanding of where that perpendicular comes from. That's from the governings of reasoning through a perfect system given to us centuries ago.
And by that reasoning, And by that reasoning, at 39 minutes after, I put up a diagram which conveys that reasoning.
Uh-huh. What, the horizontal and vertical are perpendicular?
Yeah. Look at the diagram, please. Yes.
Okay. Where is that at? Which one?
It's at 39 minutes past the hour.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I think the point is that you're just trying to get an honest conversation out of you, man.
I know. I think we've been over this one with Larry. That nobody wants to take your globe off you, Larry. I mean, that's why we say 'tis globe. And like Larry shows you there, Larry can measure the equipotential angle of adjustment through the verticals in those positions. He's even put the angles.
Excuse me, but we're going to need a citation on this equipotential angle of adjustment, because that is purely a fabrication that I can find no other description from, and even your description of what that angle is not even complete. It's a useless, meaningless, made-up cluster of words.
I should have put it.
When every time you say the EOEA, it's like just complete, gish gallop.
I should have put a chapter in my book for Bev's EO.
Yeah. It's actually marked there. Larry's showing
let me ask a question.
The confusion that happens between horizontal and vertical being perpendicular in reality.
Let me ask a question.
Nobody else is confused.
Nope.
Bev, that picture, that diagram that Shoe Bill posted at 39 minutes past the hour, do you think that if the Earth were a globe, do you think that diagram would be true?
'Tis globe.
It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yes, is it a yes or no?
Both of those things have to be true.
Axiom 1.
It was actually pretty funny earlier when Jesse asked Bev whether or not plumb is perpendicular to a level surface, and he wouldn't answer the question. I guess the answer is 'tis globe. 'Tis globe. No, you didn't.
It is. Yeah,
I was there,
definitely
Bev.
is.
When he asked you whether or not a plumb bob would be perpendicular to the surface of a perfectly still surface of water, you didn't answer that question. I was there.
And one comment on that diagram at 39 after, that's based on my measurements in the field, over 400 square miles, and that's a portion from the data set.
Yep.
May I jump in? I noticed that earlier I'm a simple man, so I'm going to go for a simple point. I noticed earlier when we were talking about the lake, and Bev, your point seemed to be that it would have been better if Jesse had a water level to establish that the water level of the lake is level. How does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't actually. I didn't say that, did I? I said if he wanted to be absolutely certain, he should use a tool called a level rather than relying on the lake.
Yes, so water doesn't act the same as water?
He was fixed on the lake. Well,
yes,
the surface of the lake is obviously not
water
in equilibrium, is it?
He declared in his hypothetical that the lake is, in fact, still and at rest.
Water seeks its own level.
So it is your assertion, Bev, that water, when put inside a metal bar or maybe a tube, magically somehow establishes a level, but then water in nature doesn't. What is it about this metal bar that magically makes the water level?
I don't know what you're talking about with a metal bar. Can you? Where did you get a metal bar from?
Yes, typically the tool water a level, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
It is the shape of a metal bar which has water inside it. Is it not?
No. I can't believe.
Okay,
who is this?
Okay, if no,
who's this?
All right. If you say no, then we need to define our terms. So can you?
God.
All right. Yes. It seems we have a problem. Maybe we have some kind of. Maybe you have lag on your end because I seem to be talking and you seem to be talking at the same time.
I've just got a nip to the
Can we
toilet.
clarify our terms? So when you say water level, what exactly do you mean? Can you give, for example, a picture of it?
Go and get a translation, Laurie.
Sorry, I don't think that was Bev speaking, so can Bev answer the question?
Yeah, get the translation of water level.
I still don't think that was Bev speaking, so can
silly.
Bev answer the question?
It sounded a bit silly. You translate first.
I won't accept answers from Bev's cultist followers and acolytes. I will only accept answers from Bev himself. Can Bev answer the question? If not, I rest my case. You do not even know what the words you say are. You cannot define what water level is, and then when I try to refer to the water level, you pretend to be confused about what the water level is. This is your tactic, Bev. You are so easily exposed.
I like calling it water curve, so Bev used the water curve tool to check that the water was curved. Still can't admit it's a globe properly, though, for some reason.
It has to be.
Why can't you admit it out loud, Jerry, in public?
I just did.
Everyone knows 'tis globe.
Yeah, but say it properly. I believe Earth is a globe now. I'm a glober.
I believe Earth is a globe. I am a glober. There you go. Happy?
Okay. So, but next time I see you sort of using semantics to have a go at a glober as if they're wrong, shall I remind you that you're a glober?
I don't say that they're wrong because the globe is reality.
You do.
Why would I say
You
it's
post
wrong?
pictures of waterfalls and stuff like that and say, haha.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's just a pretty picture of what happens to water.
On a globe, right?
Well, reality is globe, yeah.
If reality is globe. I thought you just said it was.
It is.
So get
That's
rid of the if
axiom
next
one.
time. Get rid of the if.
Listen, it says so right on the internet. You know, Earth is a globe, right?
No, that's
So
not
who
what I'm
am I to
looking
argue?
for. I'm looking for your belief, mate.
That's
Not
my
what it
knowledge.
says on the internet. That would be silly, wouldn't it?
Would it? A lot of people
What's your
use
belief about Earth? Do you dare say it in public?
it. Reality is the globe.
No,
The
no,
real
no, no.
globe.
Say it properly. Say it properly. I believe Earth is a globe. Not
I
because it
believe-
says on the internet.
I know Earth is the real globe.
Real, mean? The real.
Real.
What is that?
Real.
Is that like some type of diversion so that you're not saying what you really believe?
Not dogmatic. Real.
What does real mean in that sentence?
Means I can prove it.
And there is a fake globe as well? Is it sort of suggesting there's a
Well,
fake globe?
there's one that people have to bend reality for. But me, no,
Bend
I could
reality.
just, yeah.
So really, there's just one globe. Some people are wrong about it, but you know it is.
Well, there's a real globe and there's a dogmatic one.
A real globe. No, there's only one globe, right?
Yeah, the real one.
And you believe in it. So okay, let me ask you this. Why do you go to Bev's server instead of Glober servers if you're now a Glober?
Why would I go to, have you ever heard how nasty those people are in Glober
Yeah,
servers?
but your judgment of them being nasty is only because you were a flat earther. Now you're a Glober, you might be able to get on with them.
Why would I do that?
Because they're smart people and Bev is
Really?
Stuck in lies, so you need to get away from him if you're a Glober.
Wait, you think Bev is stuck in lies?
Yeah, because if I asked him these questions out loud in public, he wouldn't be able to answer.
Bev is the one who can prove the real globe.
Can you get Bev to admit in public that he's a Glober?
I can't get Bev to do anything. He's a grown-ass man.
Shall I try and show you that he won't admit it?
Bev can't even get himself to do anything. When asked whether a plumb line would be perpendicular to a level surface, he didn't answer the question. And then he told us that he did answer the question, even though he didn't.
So you're stuck with a man who doesn't know what Earth is, while you know what it is, and then you're stuck in his little group of semantics, where actually you're a normal Glober now.
You think I'm stuck?
In
Yeah,
Bev's
you're stuck.
defense, he did answer the first time I asked him if the plumb line was perpendicular to the water. He answered yes the first time, but then when I drew another plumb line on the other end of the lake and asked if that one was also perpendicular, that's when he wouldn't answer.
Tis globe doesn't mean anything. Tis globe means I'm a glober now, but I'm still stuck in a semantic game. That's what that means.
The real globe, tis globe, would never ask people to take on contradictions.
What contradiction, Bev?
Like
Be
what?
specific.
I don't know. You'd never have to force
Of course
people
you don't know.
to agree about things in reality, right?
Am I forcing you?
No, I think that's what we've
Am I
just gone over, innit?
Was I forcing Jerry to be
Horizontal
a
and vertical are perpendicular,
was it more of a challenge?
both here and there.
Yeah, but the horizontal's different, isn't it?
I don't know. Can you
do
imagine
know.
horizontal and vertical not being perpendicular here, but being perpendicular over there? Can you imagine it
No, because
differently?
your silly semantics works on a globe.
What? Yeah, the real globe.
The globe.
Yeah, the real globe. Horizontal
Why
and
do you say
vertical
real?
are
What does real mean?
perpendicular, both here
When you say real.
and there.
When you say real, what does
Reality.
that mean? So is there a as well?
What? You broke up there.
Wait, you're saying the real globe, like there's a real one.
Yeah, there is. It's
there's also a
reality.
fake one.
It's just reality.
Is there
It's
a fake
only ever
globe as
been
well?
just reality.
Why don't you call it globe instead of the real globe?
Well, because it's just reality. Just to remind people, not to get mixed up about things that occur in reality and other things.
Sir, when I eat a sausage, I don't say this is the real sausage. I just say it's a sausage.
Uh-huh.
So you saying the real globe means you're running a joke, whereas I'm just eating a normal sausage.
You think the real globe's a joke?
No, the way you say it.
Definitely no joke.
So I'm just eating a normal sausage like a man, and you're making semantic jokes about a cosmology.
Yeah, my sausage might be better.
So when you say the real globe, I know you're just making a semantic joke because you don't dare admit what you really think.
Just talking about reality. Horizontal and vertical are perpendicular.
You say that's why you say it, but that isn't why you say it.
Hey, Bev.
Wow. Seems like people can think what I say is true or not. Like, I don't know.
Axiom 1.
What is the radius or the diameter of the real globe, Bev?
I don't know. It's not, to my knowledge, it doesn't have
Not
a
a real
radius.
globe now, is it?
Doesn't have a radius, but it's a real globe.
Yeah,
Now
it's
you're gonna
not a
have to
sphere.
explain that.
It's not a sphere.
It's not a sphere, but it's a real globe.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that explains the semantic joke. So real globe doesn't mean globe to you.
Well, I don't know. What does globe mean to you? You tell us.
Jerry, does real globe mean sphere to you?
Yeah, you tell us, Don. Tell us
Oh my God.
Tell us what your
you've been
globe
lying
is.
to me too now. You've both been lying to me.
Tell us what your globe is, Don. Come on.
It's a sphere.
It's a sphere. Well, a sphere is a sphere. So you've violated the law of identity. If you saying it's the same, because it's not a sphere, right?
God.
We can prove that the real globe isn't a sphere.
That's not violating the law of identity, you hack.
Wow. That's
What
such
is?
weird semantics.
Well, if I've got an argument that can prove that. If the Earth is a sphere, then the surface of liquid water must curve. A water level is a tool used to establish a horizontal plane of reference. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere. Foolproof.
There you go. So it's not a sphere. We
Has to
sorted
be.
that. Right? And most people admit it's definitely not a sphere. Right?
It's definitely a sphere. That's
Most of us real globers know it's not a sphere. But Dawn here seems to think it is a sphere.
What shape do you think it is?
It's a non-geometric shape.
But
my God.
Have you got, what name have you got for that?
I don't think it has a name.
Do you think it's a geoid?
Oh. Are you breaking up?
Wow, do you think it's a geoid?
I don't know. What is a geoid?
Are you breaking up there? Or did you struggle to answer the question?
No, I asked the question, what is a geoid? I can't... If I don't know what a geoid is, I can't.
Like a meteor, asteroid, lumpy shape.
A potato.
Like a rock. Yeah, like a potato.
I wouldn't know. I
So
highly
you don't
doubt
know what
it
Earth,
was.
you don't know what Earth is, but you're calling it a globe semantically.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's like you're so confused, you don't know what to say.
No, I am saying it's a non-geometric shape. That's all it is, isn't it?
But when I say geoid potato, you say I don't know.
Well, I mean, is a geoid or potato a specific thing, undescribable?
So I can't accept you into the globe, but community, I'm afraid.
Non-geometric.
Neither can you, Joey. You're both flat earthers. Still.
Nice. No. Are you saying that you consider your globe to be geometric? Because remember, geometric stuff's provable through geometry.
What's geometry?
It's a mathematical process where you prove things.
Literally geometry, Earth measurement.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to ask about that actually earlier because I'm a translator and I know where that word comes from. So, babe, it's your assertion that the shape of the Earth is not geometric, but then
That's hilarious.
The term geometry comes from measuring the Earth. So you're saying the Earth doesn't have the shape that the Earth has.
No, triangles having 180 degrees or the sum of two right angles. Right, that's a geometric statement.
If and only if your geometry is confined to a plane.
To reality, right?
No, not in reality.
No. What I said was, if and only if your geometry is confined to a plane.
Yeah. Which is Earth measurement, right?
No. Incorrect.
So
there are other kinds of geometry.
Yeah, but geometry applies to Earth measurement, right? That's what you said. The history of the word.
Yeah, the Earth is so well geometrically measured and defined. It's even used latitude and longitude, which are units of degrees, to describe any location on it. Now,
they're perpendicular, aren't
latitude and longitude. The degrees of latitude and longitude definitely demonstrate the geometric shape of the Earth as being spherical, an imperfect sphere, but spherical.
They are perpendicular, though, aren't they? In our understanding.
Random assertion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perpendicular. Yeah. You can just use the word perpendicular anytime you want. Yeah. Perpendicular to what, when, and exactly
latitude
what
and longitude.
Yeah, latitude and longitude at a particular
one another. Just to make it clear, right?
A latitude and a longitude are perpendicular on a sphere as well.
At the point of intersection of a meridian and a latitude.
Mm-hmm. In reality as well. Right? The real globe.
Absolutely, yes. Because, and keep in mind, as you just said, when we're talking about triangles, on the surface of the Earth, constrained to the surface of the Earth, this globe, then that triangle is a spherical triangle, which is a different branch of geometry than plane triangles.
But triangles within geometry have 180 degrees.
If and only if your geometry is confined to a plane.
No, it's just 3 points.
You have to preface if you're talking about a plane triangle or a spherical triangle.
No,
on Earth, we have spherical triangles. And spherical triangles have their own definitions, and plane triangles have their own definition. And on the surface of the Earth, plane triangles do not apply.
In reality, 3 points form a triangle.
And that triangle may be spherical or planar. Now, on Earth, they're spherical. And a spherical triangle is a very different animal than a planar triangle. So we have to go into reality, deal with the TIS globe as we can measure it, and we have spherical triangles, a very different definition. And a spherical triangle, does the interior angles do exceed 180 degrees by definition?
Not between 3 points. If you're measuring the angle between 3 points, that's a traditional triangle.
Well, traditional on the surface of the Earth is a spherical triangle. And traditional, like on a machine shop or architectural, then you've got plane triangles. And they're two different animals.
Right. When you say you've got 3 points, therefore there is a triangle, that part is not in contention. The geometry in which that triangle lies is what is in contention. Both planar geometry and spherical geometry have triangles that have 3 points. However, you have to figure out what the surface is doing, don't you, Bev?
Shortest distance between 2 points in reality is a straight line.
Unless you're on
I love how you didn't answer that. Thank you.
He just throws hand grenades.
But you've just got 3 points. So the shortest distance between those points would be a straight line.
If and only if you're confined to the surface of a plane.
Angles of those lines. We're talking about the angles subtended by those lines as measured on a sphere.
As measured like between mountains in reality on the real globe.
Yeah, and they have more than 180 degrees for the sum of their internal angles.
Yep.
Remember, he doesn't mean anything when he says real globe. He means the weird thing in my head that I feel funny when I think about. That's what he means.
You didn't half sound like Nathan Oakley then, Dawn. Wow.
Now we're talking about actually going into the field and measuring a triangle of significant size with proper procedure and purpose-built instruments. And the spherical triangle is realized in the measurement.
The measurement of the angle is between two straight lines, right? It's
between two azimuths.
The line of sight, the lines of sight from point to point when traversing through the atmosphere is it's a straight line in the left and right aspect. Straight line, straight line. And at each of those vertices is a vertical, and those verticals are radial to the planet.
It's his globe. Nobody wants to take your globe away from you, Larry.
Well, you keep saying that horizontal is parallel to that all horizontals are parallel with each other, and so by definition, you're trying to say that the Earth is not spherical; it is indeed flat. I mean, you are a flat
Earther. I'm not
earther.
saying that. No. I'm saying it's not flat.
You're making a very bold contradiction.
No, I'm saying the Earth is definitely not flat. Provably so.
Well,
okay, what you're saying is across the whole surface of the Earth, a level surface is flat. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
Well, no. Yes, you are.
No,
because if you say all horizontal references are parallel with each other, then there is only one level surface that can cover the entire surface of the Earth that is flat.
You can't cover the surface of the Earth with a level surface. It doesn't work.
Why?
Okay.
Unless you want to make a tent.
Tent. Case in point, the lake to which Jesse made observations on, that lake, the topology of the surface of that lake is a portion of sphere.
Yeah, it has to be, doesn't it? But yet, a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. I mean, you've got to have that on your globe too. You've got to have both.
And to extract a horizontal from a water level, procedure must be used. Because when you have the point A and point B, your two water columns, and the subtended line between the two, horizontal is established at its midpoint and midpoint only of that subtended line.
Larry, you may have missed it earlier.
To the line AB, right? Would be perpendicular to that line.
Larry, you may have missed it earlier. Bev did say that a water level establishes 2 points of equal elevation. He actually said that out loud. I'm sure that will be clipped later.
Equal altitude. Yeah, I've said it all along.
And so when you have three, all three columns are at the equal altitude.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go from the endpoints, strike a chord in which the middle one will be above the chord, but yet they're all three at the same elevation.
But the water would be flowing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I did sort out my screen so I could go over all of that with Jesse, but Jesse seemed adamant to do the lake thing. You should.
He wanted to get a definite answer on something, and you wouldn't give it.
Yeah, but just remember, tis globe, right? Nobody's challenging anybody's globe, whatever you imagine your globe to be, right?
And
Nobody wants to challenge it.
You got up at 8 a.m. to debate it, so that's on you.
And additionally, there are instruments called precision water levels, and they do provide instruction on determining flat or level, because they are not equivalent at the high precision of a water level. And they say to get a level and a horizontal, but using their precision water level, the curvature of Earth tables are conveniently supplied.
Hey, could I jump in real quick?
Always.
Your show.
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you so much, Bev. Thank you, Sea Lion. Thank you, everybody. I am heading to bed. It's 3 in the morning, and I really enjoyed that, and I hope we can do it again. And the other thing is, before the debate, I thought I saw some other flat earthers lining up to debate me. They sounded like they had some pretty good arguments they wanted to tell me about. So, guys, if you want to debate me, I would enjoy it. All right, good night, and thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, same goes for me. If any of the flat earthers that were out there listening, if you want to come and have a challenge the real globe, be my guest. I think most of them have blocked.
What's the real globe again? Just tell everyone in the room what the real globe is.
It's just reality.
Just reality. So
just reality.
It's a meaningless definition.
Yeah.
So in reality, when we measure a spherical triangle, and in reality, when a body of water at rest is a portion of sphere, then the horizontal on one shore is not the same as the horizontal at the other shore, because that'd be two tangents to a sphere.
Yeah. Whatever it takes. Everyone knows
it takes measurements,
globe, though, right? Yeah. I mean, some people don't have to go to the
measurements,
length that
and you said
does.
before, right? Whatever it takes is measurements, and what you said before was, I don't need to provide any measurements to back up my position. You said that.
Well, no, I said I can't see what use it would be providing any sort of proof to somebody that can believe that perpendiculars aren't perpendicular over there.
Nobody's position is that perpendiculars are not perpendicular.
That's what Jesse said. Yeah, he confirmed
that's
it.
A straw man,
he
Ben.
did. He
No, it's not what
confirmed
Jesse
it to
said.
Jerry.
That's a straw man.
Incorrect. He said that perpendicular is for that given point. So horizontal and vertical are perpendicular at a point. You can move to another point. Horizontal and vertical are perpendicular there. However, the horizontal references from two different points will not be parallel with one another. That's what his actual position was. So I would request that if you were to represent your opposition in a debate, you would actually represent them faithfully and honestly.
Yeah, well, it's not a different position on the vertical, is it? Because that would still be deemed as being horizontal.
What the fuck did I just say? Bev, what the fuck did I just say?
I don't know why you need to swear.
Right, because if I said something very specific and you want to turn it into something that I didn't say, that's a dishonest move from you, Bev.
That's called lying.
Yeah, well, I'd like to be honest, I couldn't comprehend what you were talking about, because I have this understanding that horizontal and vertical are perpendicular, just
That's
like you.
We have the same understanding, Bill.
Yes, oh good. We all have the same understanding of horizontal.
We all understand that.
Being
Horizontal is perpendicular to vertical.
When I'm thinking of over there,
one point.
yeah. When I'm thinking of over there, though, Blue.
Understand?
I'm thinking
One
that
fucking
horizontal and vertical are perpendicular over there too.
And over
Well, that's
here,
different
horizontal
horizontal,
and
isn't it?
vertical are perpendicular at one fucking point. Got it?
Yeah, but I think it's
And the two
they're
verticals are not
perpendicular
parallel to
over
each other.
there,
Therefore,
Blue.
the two horizontals are not parallel to each other. Got it?
Different horizontals, Bev. Just take it in.
Different
Your
horizontal
magic,
It has to be.
points.
your magic imaginary horizontal doesn't stretch round a sphere. That's impossible, isn't it?
No, look. The water level
in.
establishes a horizontal from A to B,
No, it doesn't.
inclusive of A and B within that
No, it doesn't, Bev.
horizontal
That's a
plane.
misrepresentation of what a water level does.
Right, and
You got
See,
it
there is
right.
I
no
think that's
builder.
where the confusion's coming in.
You got it right once tonight when you said a water level establishes 2 points of equal elevation or altitude, depending on which word you want to use. At that point, you were right. But a line drawn between those 2 points is not horizontal at either fucking point.
Well, what would you call that line then? Because that's
I
the
would
shortest
call that-
distance between A and B, right?
If you draw it at 2 points on the surface, I'd call it a fucking chord line.
But
Right.
you wouldn't say it's horizontal because you do say
No,
that
it's
the
not horizontal
horizontal
at either
can be
one of
a
those points,
chord
Bev.
line. If
By
you wanted
definition,
it
it's
to.
not horizontal at either
I think
point.
I've got you. I can quote you saying that, Blue.
Hold on.
I'm okay with
take apart
horizontal
what he just
curving as
said.
well. Just
Yeah,
sorry.
take apart what he just said. It's not horizontal at A or B. That doesn't mean it's not horizontal at some point, which would be the midpoint.
Yeah,
Right.
perpendicular.
At the
What is
midpoint.
perpendicular?
Yeah. So that means that A and B is on the line that is perpendicular.
At a point at
What?
the
So
center
that would make
between
the
two
line
points,
from
Bev.
A to B a horizontal, wouldn't it?
No.
Not
It's
for
not
A or
horizontal at
B.
either of those points, Bev. You
Yeah,
got to
not
put
for
a
A or
third
B.
point in the center and a third vertical.
Right,
That's
so
where it would be perpendicular.
we've got a
That
water
line would
level.
be perpendicular there. You could call it horizontal there.
Right.
It is not horizontal at point A or B.
Okay. So we've got a water level that I say establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? And you've got one
How do 2
end
points
and the other
establish a
end. You
plane?
could call one A and one B. Now you're saying, like I'm saying that is establishing a horizontal plane of reference, but you say
How do
no.
2 points establish a plane?
2
Bev?
points.
How do 2 points establish a plane?
Now are those 2 points on the
You got a different
horizontal
definition of plane than I do.
This is fucking weird. Huh?
Are
He
those
does, yeah.
2
His
points
plane changes.
on the horizontal plane established by the water level?
No.
No.
Now, the last time I checked, in order to uniquely identify a plane, you need 3 points that are not in a line.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2 points, the water level, A and B, don't lie on the horizontal plane established by the water level.
The water level doesn't establish a horizontal plane. That's your problem, Bev.
Okay. Well,
That is
take
not
it in.
what it does. Like I said, you got it right one time. The water level establishes 2 points of equal altitude. That's the word you like. Okay, use it.
and that line between the two would have zero slope to it because it's got an equal
slope relative to what, Bev?
Horizontal. Zero slope.
That line would have a slope relative to either one of those horizontals, the horizontal at A or B.
Well,
Bev,
the
do you
tool establishes
disagree?
a horizontal plane of reference.
No, it doesn't.
He's just going to keep chanting it.
Yeah, he just
Bev, do you disagree with the diagram at 15 minutes after?
Do I? It looks like you've got an elevation change of a water level there.
Oh, jeez.
No, I clearly labeled no elevation change. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Okay, so is the elevation change of the horizontal? Is that what you're showing?
Clearly labeled. Okay. Clearly labeled.
So would that be deemed as a horizontal sloping with an elevation change?
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's horizontal on the left.
Yeah.
It's horizontal on the left, and that's the established elevation. And as you extend out along that horizontal, you are increasing in elevation, and the water level is not.
The elevation
There's a difference
of a
between
horizontal over distance.
There's a difference between slope
Sounds like a
and
slope to me.
deviation from a constant curve. So if you just say a horizontal is sloping, that's not specific enough.
Well, it's definitely a straight line or a plane, right? A horizontal.
Okay. Level, however, is not a straight line.
If you
or
have
a
a
plane.
straight line that has an elevation change, that's known as a slope. Rise over run.
Not
right?
specifically.
On the real globe, right? That's what most people know.
Yeah, on this real diagram, from my real measurements, the horizontal line has a constantly changing slope, resulting in a higher elevation on the right side.
But the horizontal in the rise over run is the run, that distance.
Rise over run, you need to be very careful with rise over run, because that is very applicable when building a fucking parking lot, but not when dealing with a fucking floodplain over multiple
No need to swear, Larry. It's okay. Nobody wants to take away your globe, right? We're talking about the real globe.
It's not my fucking
right.
globe.
Feel free to
It's
swear
not
all you
my
want
fucking...
to, Dave, by the way.
Well,
it's not
yeah,
my
but
fucking globe.
It is my YouTube channel going on.
Oh, you
live.
swear on your fucking YouTube all the time,
right.
Biff. God
Okay.
damn.
Yeah, you do.
Calm down,
Jesus
Blue. Come
fucking
on.
Christ. What's your fucking problem, bud?
Stop, Blue. Come
you
on.
do it all the time.
I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to.
When Bev does it, it's fine.
Nice.
Yeah, it's okay when
See
he
you
does
later.
it.
It's been interesting, but it's obviously Blue Marble Science can control
So
himself.
it's a yes or no question. Do you disagree
I'll
with
see
the
you
diagram?
back later.
No, do you disagree with it?
Oh, there you are.
Yes. Here we are back in the On the Level Discord. Little I don't know. Were you watching? It's a little bit less frantic. Blue Marble Science started swearing. They can't control themselves.
I did notice Farmer's Boy in the chat was losing his, I don't know, composure, calling us a cult, all of that kind of normal stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
Space Pope.
Yeah.
Calling you a liar in the VC.
Yeah, we're just talking about things that go on in reality, and it's pretty obvious that anyone within this arena, sorry to say that, but I mean, most people will be listening. They know. They've obviously heard the conversations. I mean, I have the conversations so people don't have to, but I'm getting bored of it. And I don't know whether I'm causing these people to go to these lengths. I mean, I've never heard anybody say that horizontal and vertical aren't perpendicular. And to try and get people to have a concept of it, it's a dialetheism thing. It's just too much. And I don't know whether I'm causing them to do that. It doesn't look good. And I remember George. I don't want that to occur again. So I think I'm going to have to sort of step back and not try and... it seems like anything I say triggers these people into thinking we're evil. So I'm going to have to sort of cut off the communications, I think. It's pretty obvious that Blue Marble Science is getting a little bit too triggered. The real globe, Dell, defines level as being horizontal. You'd struggle to get people to have any other understanding. They just put it on their globe. Think no more of it. It's not even worth contemplating it, because you'll end up talking to people that obviously are far too deep into this conversation. It's a false dichotomy. There is only reality. And bringing people into talking this arena about reality causes a lot of people to get awfully triggered. I'm not too sure. If anybody does want to come in on the Level Discord, the link's underneath the thing. Please come in, have a conversation. try dropping the model though. We're just here to talk about reality. Remember, 'tis Globe. Do you wanna choose?
Can you? Yeah, can you play the new one, please?
Which one?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I don't know whether I've put it on the thing. Let me. Yeah, I had to reset my PC, so let me get it back up again then. Everywhere.
Yeah, seeing as I've had it stuck in my head since I woke up.
I'll wait for my PC to catch up.
You've got nothing.
Screen 3. There we go. I don't know whether we're going to go. Well, we'll just have a bit of a break. Let me nip to the toilet.
You've got nothing. You got a pure.
Oh, wait a minute. You want it, don't you? So you can hear it. There you go. You right?
Yes.
You got nothing. You got a pure geometric argument. That's all. And that absolutely does not show up, does not prove anything. Everybody knows that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. And now everybody knows mean sea level is established at a point, and it goes everywhere.
Perpendicular lines meet in the air, horizontal and vertical everywhere. Drawing shapes with a flare, just globe dreams we'll share.
Oh my God.
Horizontal planes so wide and clear, building worlds everywhere. Everywhere. In the lines we find our cheer. Geometric love, my dear. Everything is always everywhere. Angles meet with precision and care. Geometry flows in the precious air. Everywhere we look, everywhere. Circles turning round and round.
Oh my God.
Shapes and patterns all around.
Oh God.
Lines that vanish without a sound. Loving the logic that
Oh my God.
we found.
Mean sea level.
Intersecting heart's design. Drawing Euclid in
Oh
every
my God.
sign.
Mean sea level.
Parallel paths will never meet.
Oh God.
Symmetry on every line. Everything is always everywhere. Angles meet with precision and care. Geometry flows in the precious air. Everywhere we look, everywhere. Perpendicular lines meet in the air. Horizontal and vertical everywhere. Drawing shapes with a flare. Just globe dreams we'll share.
Mean sea level is established at a point, and it goes everywhere. Oh my God.
Oh, right. Back. Everywhere. It's quite fitting, isn't it? Perpendicular.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Elderbear? You might need to fix your mic there, Elderbear. I don't know what's going on. Maybe jump out and back in again. Oh, they're fascinated with the pictures.
That was good. That was very good, as usual.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been flashing pictures around for years with all sorts of things on them, you know.
Yeah, they don't listen, do what they want, say what they want, lie.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention.
There's quite a lot of people over there, though.
Yeah, Yeah, it was quite a few. It's good that they muted them. Really, that was during the beginning bit. It wasn't as bad at the end. I thought it was going to get crazy, but didn't really get crazy. That Dawn's a dickhead.
Oh yeah. Well, Dawn showed us how to conceptualize the imaginometry.
Oh right.
With the Dornagon. Have you never heard of the Dornagon?
I had, but I didn't realise it referred to him.
Yeah.
But great. I remember that. I must swat up on it.
Well, it's like I said, where everything that you learn within this arena is learnt from the people within this arena. It's just, what are the lessons that you take from this things, right? I mean, like we're talking about here, we're talking about a water level establishing a horizontal plane of reference, and you've only got A and B. But they say that A and B isn't actually the horizontal plane of reference established. It's so strange. How, some of the things that you're asked to conceptualize, and I can't do that. I've literally only got 2 points. I got the whiteboard. I wiped it and everything. Took my thing down so I could use the whiteboard, but I didn't think I would need it. I wasn't given chance to use it at all, because probably everything would have been obfuscated. So I hope everybody enjoyed that, and I don't know, get from it whatever you want, but
yeah,
we're just talking about reality, and the dangers of talking about reality to people within this arena.
Yeah, I wonder if the book was Jesse's original idea, or somebody said, "Here, that'd be a good idea."
Well, isn't it the same as what Nathan Oakley's done? Like, he's found a citation from somewhere. He's just conjured his own. I mean, it's Nathan Oakley could have done too.
Yeah.
Well, somebody could have, conjured that up. But I mean, that's not what the idea of a definition is, right? We've studied this sort of stuff, and within the form of the grammar, you have to have the law of identity being what the description of the word is, right? It has to actually comport with the definition, and you can't then swap and change which definitions you want to use.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It causes complications. So anyway, I think there's not much else to do. Thanks for watching, everyone. I don't know what we'll end up with. I think they go to the church, because they haven't got any of the other ones sorted out. Yeah, okay. I don't know when we'll be back. Monday, probably, but obviously things are going to change from here on in. There's a certain group of people that seem to get awfully triggered when you talk about the real globe to them, and considering that's what we're all here for, to try and find out realities and things that happen in reality. That's the real globe. But so if anyone does want to shout out, Level Bastard says shout out Sea Lion for his super chat. I don't know what it was. Sorry about that, Sea Lion. Sorry it ended that way as well with the people.
No, he said fight, and he gave you $20.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sea Lion. But I don't think there's any idea in fighting this sort of stuff. We are talking about the real globe. Depends what you envisage the globe to be, but that's only something that you put in your mind. No big deal. Imagine it however you want. As long as you imagine 'tis globe, you're fine. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the church of the religion you never knew you had. Welcome to the place unknown, religion seated when you were grown. Hidden lessons went along, truth is here now in this tone. Shadow plays on the wall, you never knew you learned it all. Secret speakers, echoes call, feel the rise, don't fear the fall. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. They whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark, their secrets keep. Now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots, your faith has spread, follows you where air is led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked. Whispered while you dreamt so deep, planted truths while thoughts were free. In the dark, their secrets keep. Now you're part of this belief. From unknown roots, your faith has spread, follows you where air it's led. Watch the shadows lie in bed, find the path that you've been fed. The church of the religion you never knew you had. Beneath the questions never asked, rise of faith and shadows cast. They taught you, now you're unmasked.